blast this one. Right center field. Warning track. Wall. Adios. Sayonara. Ciao, baby.
Hey, Keith, that is the question.
I asked Carlos Mendoza how I said, you look at Montas, okay, fastball, slider, split. What are you looking for tonight? He goes, length. So that gives you your answer for what the Mets need tonight from Frankie. He did go 5 in his last outing against Kansas City, but again, coming back from the lat strain, he has not thrown more than 86 pitches in one outing yet, but tonight, just his 5th start of 2025. Meanwhile, for Kyle Hendricks, the veteran, former World Series champion with the Chicago Cubs, 11 seasons on the north side of Chicago, his first season in Southern California. He'll make his 19th start. He is 5-6 with a 4.88 ERA. That's tonight's pitching matchup, sponsored by Ridgewood Savings Bank, multiplying the good for over 100 years. Starting lineup's first pitch coming up on Odyssey Mets Radio, powered by the all-new Nissan Murano.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call
Do you see yourself maybe one day after baseball, like maybe food critic, food writer?
I would love to do that. That's the plan. I've been doing it ever since I was in the big leagues. It's just fun. It's fun to interact with people like the fans, because a lot of my followers are baseball fans. So it's nice to interact with them on a topic that's not baseball. A lot of people seem to rally around that. I mean, who doesn't love good food?
Left field, Joe Adell, the center fielder, bats 5th. Batting 6th at third base, the switch hitter, Yohan Moncada. Jorge Soler, we've seen him for a long time. He was with Atlanta recently. The right fielder bats 7th for the Angels. The catcher, Logan O'Hoppe, bats 8th. And the second baseman, Luis Rengifo, bats 9th for the Angels. Kyle Hendricks makes career start number 289 and number 19 here in 2025. Now for the New York Mets, who are 57-44 and remain a half game behind Philadelphia for the top spot in the National League East. For Carlos Mendoza's Mets, Brandon Nimmo leads off. He's in the left. The shortstop, Francisco Lindor, bats 2nd. Right fielder, Juan Soto, hits 3rd. Pete Alonso at first base is the Mets cleanup hitter, presented by ServPro. Cleanup, restoration, construction, like it never even happened. Jeff McNeil in center, batting 5th. The DH, Mark Vientos, hits 6th. Then it's Brett Beatty at 2nd. Francisco Alvarez catching, and Ronnie Mauricio at third base. Frankie Montas, 4 starts under his belt. This is number 5 this season. The 10-year Major League veteran is 2-1 with a 5.03 ERA. And again, remember, a late start with that lat strain sustained in spring training. For the Angels, who lost last night, they're still in those road gray pants. For Zach Neto, the shortstop, he is red from his ankle up to right above his knee. Those red socks, the red top, red helmet. Meanwhile, the Mets have won on back-to-back days in this City Connect, so they are going to stay with a good thing. That graphite gray with the 7-line purple. Montas and the Mets are wearing that tonight. It's worked for the last 2 nights for the Mets. Montas trying to keep that going. We'll send it over to the Hall of Fame radio voice of the New York Mets. Here is Howie Rose.
I'm sure it was the City Connects that did the job. Yeah. Meanwhile, Frankie Montas will try to get it done for the Mets. give the bullpen a rest. A couple of new faces out there, or recycled ones anyway. We'll tell you about that as we go along. But right now, it's Montas to Zach Neto, the right-hand batter. And the first pitch of the game is a fastball over the inner half for a called strike. And it's 0-1. Neto went 1 for 4 last night. So he's on a 9-game hitting streak. 16 out of 41. His average for the year up to 281. 15 homers, 35 RBIs. And the 0-1 on the way is a breaking ball low and away. A sweeper from Montas. And it's 1-1. Last time out, Freddie Montas 10 days ago in Kansas City went 5 solid innings, giving up 4 hits and a run, throwing 83 pitches. He's been in the 80s 3 times already. The 1-1 grounded foul past Coach Bo Porter down the third base line. And it's 1-2. But, there's not really much of an issue in getting Frankie Montas stretched out anymore. 83 pitches in 5 innings his last time. They'll gladly take 90, even 100 from him tonight if he is able to do it and provide some quality along with some length. Outfield straight away against the right-hand hitting Neto. And Montas with a left leg kick deals 1-2. And a breaking ball line down the left field line. Hooking and foul. And just foul. So Neto making a bid for an extra base hit. And the count 1-2 strikes. This is a kid who is outstanding defensively. And he can steal a base. And a guy who's had some injury problems in the past seemed to be behind him now. Did miss the first 18 games of this year with a shoulder problem, but he is a good, solid player. Here's the 1-2 pitch to him. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a split with a lot of movement, too. Not just straight down, but down and away from the right-hand batter. So Montas strikes out the first batter he faces, and that's brought to you by Weichert Realtors. Don't settle for a good agent. Go for a great one at Weichert.com. So 1 out, nobody on. Nolan Shunwell, the first baseman, a left-hand hitter. He went 0 for 4 last night. The first pitch to him, taken for a called strike. 0-1 to Shunwell, another first-round pick. He is a Floridian from Boca Raton. Played collegiately at FAU, Florida Atlantic University. The 0-1 on the way, a fastball high and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. He left the game Sunday with a wrist contusion in Philadelphia. They weren't sure he'd be available to play yesterday, but he did, and he's right back in there tonight. 1-1 the count to him. Mauricio way off the line at third, and the 1-1 pitch is taken downstairs. A fastball, 2-1. Mets defense brought to you by Olin & Cohen Orthopedic Group. Experiencing orthopedic pain, they've got specialists for that. Alonso at first, Beatty at second, Lindor at short, Mauricio at third. Nimmo, McNeil, Soto left to right in the outfield. Alvarez back behind the plate. 2-1 pitch. Swinging a liner down the third base line. A fair ball past Mauricio, who had no chance. Headed towards the corner. Nimmo up with it. Fires to second, but too late to get Shunwell, who's in sliding with a 2-base hit. Well, as we mentioned, Mauricio, the left-hand batter up, was far off the line. And Shunwell couldn't have placed that one any better for a double.
Yeah, just a nice piece of hitting. You can see on the slow-mo side-angle replay, the ball travels really deep in the strike zone. It's maybe a couple inches from the catcher's glove, and Shunwell finally gets to it and hits it inside that line by about 4 or 5 feet.
So the Angels, who jumped out to a 4-0 lead last night, threatening to go on top in the first inning tonight. Runner at second, 1 out, and here is Mike Trout, the designated hitter. And the first pitch to him is a fastball that's high and tight, 1 ball and no strikes. Trout went 0 for 3 last night. Walken was hit by a pitch that ended a mini hitting streak at 6 straight games. He had more knee problems this year. That cost him 26 games. Cost is the operative term as far as the Angels go. The 1-0 to Trout, a fastball on the inner half for a called strike, 1-1. Remember, he signed that huge 12-year, $426.5 million contract. It runs through the 2030 season, 5 years from now. The 1-1 on the way. Looped in the air to shallow right, falls in for a base hit. Shunwell to third, being waved home. Here's the throw to the plate by Soto on one hop. The slide, he's out! A head-first slide. Alvarez applies the tag. Holding at first is Trout. So Juan Soto picks up the assist, and for the second straight night, a good tag at the plate by Francisco Alvarez, and there are 2 men away.
I know Shotwell just hustled his way to a double at second base, but that took a long time for him to develop coming around third. He just kept going, and it felt like he was making up no ground. So Soto had to charge this ball, came up firing. Alonso had a chance to maybe cut it off, lets it bounce through, and plenty of time for Alvarez to put the tag on Shotwell, who at the end of it tried to swim around it, but finally got to home plate. Risky send by Bull Porter, and Soto makes him pay.
So 7-2 on the putout of Shotwell at the plate. And the Mets do have a chance to get out of this inning. Now, Ray Montgomery, the interim manager of the Angels, is out talking to Laz Diaz, the home plate ump. I don't think this is about Alvarez having given a lane or anything, because Alvarez was kind of leaning towards the first base side and had to sweep back to get the tag down. So whatever that conversation was about, it did not yield any kind of particular challenge or appeal. So the call is what it is. Out at the plate, Shotwell. Trout on at first, 2 men away, and here is Taylor Ward, right-hand batter. And Montas ready to go. His first pitch. Taken low outside, ball 1. Taylor Ward batting at .233. He has 23 home runs. That's tied for 5th in the American League. His 76 runs batted in are 4th best in the league. He is 4 out of 12 with a homer against Montas in the past. 2 out, Trout at first, the 1-0. He can't hold his swing, goes around at a slider away, and it's 1-1 to Taylor Ward. Joe Adele on deck if the Angels keep the inning going. We're talking about Trout. Now he still has 5 more years left on that deal at $35 million a year. The 1-1 check swing. He goes around at a slider again, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Ward. The Angels strike out a whole lot. Only the Colorado Rockies strike out more often among major league teams than the Rockies. Montas is ahead, 1-2. Here's the pitch. Low, a split in the dirt, blocked by Alvarez. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Umpires lineup from RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. Visit rwjbh.org. Laz Diaz has the plate. Eric Backus at first. Brian O'Nora at second. Mike Estabrook, the umpire at third. No score, 2 out, top of the first. Trout being held on by Alonso. Outfield straight away against the right-hand hitting Ward. Montas deals. Swinging a high pop foul. That'll reach the seats downstairs behind first base. Mets and Angels will play 1 more in this series. That'll be tomorrow. It'll be getaway day. We're still not sure what the Angels are going to do for a pitcher. It might be a bullpen game. Sean Manaea will be on the mound for the Mets. And again, a 1-10 start tomorrow. 2-2 to Ward. Montas deals. Low and away with a slider, full count. So that means Trout will have an automatic start from first on 3-2. Montas now up to 18 pitches in this inning. Helped out by that throw from Soto and the tag from Alvarez to nail a runner at the plate. Trout set to run the payoff pitch. Swinging a little number out in front of the plate, rolling towards the mound. Montas up with it, fires to first in time, and that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. And in the middle.
There's so much history right here. And when I put it on and it's so light, it just feels just right. It feels just right. I mean, look at this. It got the city on it. When I was 7 years old, my uncle takes me where? To Shea Stadium. Darryl Strawberry hits a home run and I become a fan for life.
Mazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. Excludes tax, title, and registration. 0 security deposit. VIN SM804627. MSRP 29040 and 73125.
While everyone is listening to the ballgame on the Mets radio network, the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative, ELEC, is hard at work rebuilding our infrastructure. Whether it's transportation, water, or energy products, ELEC and the operating engineers 825 are ready to get to work building our bounce back.
Last of the first inning, the Angels did not score in the top half, and the veteran right-hander Kyle Hendricks will face Brandon Nimmo to lead off. Left-hand batter, and the first pitch right down the middle, a sinker for a called strike. It's 0-1 to Nimmo. He went 0 for 2 last night, had a sacrifice fly. He's been on base in 15 consecutive games. He was hit by a pitch and walked in last night's game. And the 0-1 is lifted in the air to shallow left. In comes Ward, and Ward, the left fielder waiting, makes the one-hand catch for the first out. And now Francisco Lindor. Let's see the support that he gets from the fans here. Lindor is 0 for his last 26 at the plate. And so the only longer stretch that he's had as an 0-fer in his big league career was way back in September of 2016 when he was with Cleveland and went 0 for 27. So he is in danger of equaling that mark. And the first pitch to Lindor, batting left-handed. Fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. As we come to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. Francisco's becoming a bit of a talk show host now. The 0-1, that's in for a called strike. Good changeup, and Hendricks will throw a lot of those. It's 0-2. For, what is it, Cafe Con Lindor on social media. A show about, well, a lot of stuff, a lot of conversation. To give you an example, the 0-2 fouled straight back out of play. If you've ever watched Jerry Seinfeld and comedians in cars getting coffee, it's kind of the same concept. They just use the coffee as kind of a vehicle for a broader base conversation. Francisco is a wonderful conversationalist, so I guess that's got a chance. The 0-2 lifted foul off to the left and out of play. Another changeup, and it remains 0-2.
I think the coffee love is kind of recent for Lindor. Last few years, he's really gotten into it with some people down at Port St. Lucie, some coffee machines. They have a new one in the Mets clubhouse. Why not?
Here's the 0-2. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. He can't hold up with a changeup. He goes around, strike 3. And Francisco Lindor has now equaled the longest 0-fer of his career. 0 for 27. 2 out, nobody on, and it'll bring up Juan Soto.
And tonight, the opposing pitcher, Kyle Hendricks, throws probably the slowest four-seamer in the game, 86 miles an hour, which is slower than the guy yesterday, Tyler Anderson. He's never been a hard thrower, but this year especially.
Here's Juan Soto, left-hand batter, takes the first pitch down and in, ball 1. Soto last night had the big 2-run single in the 7th inning, which got the Mets even at 5-5. Remember, they trailed 4-0 at one point last night. Juan batting .256, got 24 home runs, tied for 6th in the league. The 1-0, fastball over for a called strike at 85 miles an hour. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. That's the 2-seamer, the sinker from Hendricks. Sinker, slider when he's right, but he also gives up a lot of long balls. He's allowed 16 home runs. Here's the 1-1. That's a called strike at the knees, another sinker, and it's 1-2. Angels nothing, Mets nothing. 2 out, nobody on here in the last of the first inning. Hendricks 4-1 in his career against the Mets, not counting 1 start in the postseason. 1-2 on the way, swung on and popped up. Again, shallow left, in comes Ward towards the line, makes the one-hand catch, side retired. So the Mets go in order, and at the end of 1, it's the Angels nothing.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, Diamond Dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
Junior line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
we are, Arlington, Texas. This is the Graham Slam Burger. So 2 patties, brisket, caramelized onion, American cheese, ranch aioli, or ranch mayo, if you will.
Oh yeah, we're in Texas.
Yeah.
It's something that you definitely want to take a picture of and just put on the gram. I took a bite of it, but it still looks dope.
It's a burger that looks great, but also delicious.
Taste of Hollywood later on tonight in our broadcast. Although, the Angels call themselves the Los Angeles Angels, but they're not really playing in L.A. They're in Anaheim. Joe Adell, right-hand batter, leads off, takes fastball for a called strike one from Frankie Montas. But anyway, Christopher McDonald, the actor who plays Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore, is going to join us during the game tonight because Happy Gilmore 2's coming out. The 0-1, a fastball inside near the elbow. Adell moves out of the way, and it's ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's one of those texts that you get during the week you don't get very often. Hey, you guys want Shooter on? Yes, we do, please.
Here's the 1-1 to Adell. Bouncing ball back to the mound, gloved down by Montas, trying to pick it up. He finally does and throws to first in time to get the out. 1 away. Was able to kind of slap that down with his glove hand, and they're going to come out and take a look at him. I mean, this is all the Mets need now, is to have any kind of a situation with Frankie Montas or any other pitcher that would potentially force him to leave a game early. Now, in watching the replay, he tried to glove that by going behind his back, and so I'm not sure if it got the glove flush. He had a smile on his face afterwards, or if it might have nicked something else on the way too, but you've got Carlos Mendoza, who apparently is satisfied that everything is okay. Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, as well, and Joe Golia, the trainer. They're all on their way back to the dugout.
It looked like it hit him in the leg. We're getting a front view of it now. Took one hop. I might have hit him on the back of the leg, the hamstring area, which is a nice juicy part that Montas has got a big lower half, so that probably bounced right off him. He's okay, but a couple hours before the game, I saw Griffin Canning, former Angel, saying hi to some friends on crutches, so it just kind of takes you a place that you're lucky that Montas isn't going to go here.
Mets want no part of that. Here is Yoan Moncada, the third baseman, switch hitter batting left, hits the first pitch right to Alonso, who grabs it on the fly, shoulder high. A laser at 110 off the bat from Moncada, and Pete Alonso got the glove up in a hurry, 2 men away.
That's great, just reacted by going glove up first and then jumped up. You can see Alonso is surprised he made that catch, but just great instincts right there from Pete going up.
2 out, nobody on, and here is Jorge Soler playing right field. That can always be an adventure. He's not a great defender. Right-hand hitter with a lot of power in the first pitch, taken outside, 1 ball and no strikes. But we want to remind you that this second inning is powered by Invesco QQQ, the official ETF of the New York Mets. Tomorrow's innovation awaits with Invesco QQQ. Let's rethink possibility. 1-0 to Soler. Swung on, hit deep to left. Down the line, near the pole, and gone. Jorge Soler with his 12th home run of the year as he hits it over the wall near the foul pole down the left field line. Probably fair by about 6 feet or so. And Jorge Soler has homered off of Frankie Montas to give the Angels a 1-0 lead.
Well, former World Series MVP has had so many looks like that. A World Series MVP has wanted a taste of it, and, well, the Angels this year are the ones getting a taste.
So here is Logan O'Hoppe, who hit a home run in last night's game. First pitch to him. Little tapper slowly hit up the third base line. It's going to stay on the grass, and all Alvarez can do, and he's closer to third base than he is to home plate, is just pick the ball up and put it in his pocket. It's an infield hit for O'Hoppe.
Nothing you can do about that. He gave up one that goes 380 feet, 107 off the bat, and then 169 miles an hour off the bat that rolls 70 feet in the grass. Baseball can be very cruel.
Well, here's some cruel news for the Mets from Philadelphia. Well, it's not cruel, I guess. It's disappointing that the Phillies are off to a big lead against the Red Sox, 4-0 in the bottom of the second, sponsored by Nissan, who make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. Now, you know how the Phillies won the game last night, right? on a catcher's interference call. Well, wait till you hear this. Here's Rengifo, and he takes on the inside corner, a called strike, 0-1. Kyle Schwarber hit his 33rd home run, but Bryce Harper was ruled safe on an attempted steal of home due to, you guessed it, catcher's interference.
Wow.
They've got that down to a science. The 0-1 to Rengifo, lifted in the air, shallow center, charging in McNeil, going out Lindor. It falls in for a base hit, and O'Hoppe goes first to third. The throw comes into second, and Rengifo is on at first with a bloop single to center. So a homer, an infield hit, and a bloop. And with the Angels leading 1-0, back to the top of the order for Zach Neto with runners at the corners, 2 out.
Now, Luis Rengifo, we told you yesterday, coming in really struggling, maybe a trade candidate if it doesn't work out for the Angels before the deadline, hitting .234. Well, of course, he has 4 hits in 5 at-bats to start the series from the 9 spot.
Well, here is Zach Neto, who is on a 9-game hitting streak. Angels 1, Mets nothing. Angels have 5 hits already, 2 in the first, 3 here in the second. First pitch by Montas, way outside with a slider, ball 1. Yankees have a 3-run home run from Jazz Chisholm. Lead the Blue Jays 3-1 in Toronto. Jays are 4 up on the Yankees in the American League East. Montas brings the hands together. Runners lead from the corners, the 1-0. Swung on and missed a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike to Neto. Nolan Schanuel is on deck.
A check swing last night was the catcher's interference, too. That I didn't see until the highlight. I went, wow, on a check swing, catcher's interference.
Throw to first, and a close play, but diving in safely is Rengifo, and holding his ground at third is O'Hoppe. A weird way to end the game, of course. It had not happened since 1971.
Wow.
54 years ago. 1-1, the count to Neto. Now Montas to the belt. Here's the pitch. Low outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Alvarez came up ready to fire in behind Rengifo, but he held on to the ball. And it's 2-1. So Montas, 31 pitches here, not yet through the second inning. On a night when the Mets really need some length. And to exacerbate their already tenuous bullpen situation, you got the quick turnaround with a 1:10 game tomorrow. 2-1 the count. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss at a split. Good pitch. And it's 2-2. Well, the Mets are going to have some challenges in the back end of their bullpen tonight. We don't believe that Edwin Diaz nor Huáscar Brazoban will be available, given their recent usage. He has been in the last 2. So the Mets, even on a night when they've got 2 different arms out there, Rico Garcia and Justin Garza, well, they're still a little short in the pen. 2-2 to Neto. Swing on a ground ball, slowly hit to short, waiting on it. Lindor fires to second to get the force play, and that retires the side. Angels take the lead. 2-out homer by Soler.
St. Louis Cardinals, one of the cleanest jerseys in the game. I've always felt that way. And, the birds on the bat, just an iconic logo. I mean, look how rich that yellowish gold is in the bat, all the stitching with the birds. I've just always thought it's one of the best looks in the game. 35 is the number I wore in my Major League debut. I actually think this might be the jersey from my Major League debut. So that was 2010, May 29th.
Yeah, mine was a tops now as well. I hit my first walk-off last year against the Mets.
Jacob Young, Nationals win. Now he's got his first walk-off big league hit.
Dad had bought a stack of them, and I was like, I think we can get these ourselves, but he went ahead and bought a stack for himself.
Like business cards. There you go.
But it was awesome just to have that moment and have everyone so excited to have a picture of you is a fun moment.
Well, you hear Layla in the background. Derek and the Dominoes are not here, but Pete Alonso is. That's his walk-up music, and he'll come to the plate for the Mets to lead off the bottom of the second, with the Angels leading 1-0. Kyle Hendricks retired the Mets in order in the first. Alonso is 0 for his last 8, batting .273, 21 homers, 77 RBIs. In the first pitch, taken down the middle, a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Pete tied for 9th in homers. He is 3rd in runs batted in the National League, but he's been cooling off lately in the power department in particular. The 0-1, swing and a miss at that, very modest fastball at 87 miles an hour, and it's 0-2. Pete's only hit 3 home runs in his last 25 games as he closes in on Darryl Strawberry's club record. The 0-2 breaking ball down and away, 1-2. He is still 5 away from tying Straw. Pete at 247 career home runs. Adele in center, couple steps the other way. The 1-2 pitch, low outside with a changeup. A lot of fade to that pitch, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alonso with McNeil on deck, and then Vientos. Moncada deep at third near the line. 2-2 pitch, low and away with another changeup. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes on Alonso. Kyle Hendricks pitched against the Mets in the National League Championship Series 10 years ago. Took a no decision in Game 3. Payoff pitch fouled back to the screen. And that was at Wrigley Field. The Mets, you might recall, swept the Cubs straight out of Wrigley. 4 straight. But then, of course, the Cubs would win it all the next year for the first time since 1908. Here's the payoff pitch to Alonso. Swinging a looping foul fly towards first, and it just lands beyond the reach of Shonowell. Just a foul ball, and it remains 3-2 to Alonso.
When we were there in 23, and by there I mean Wrigley, we saw the Cubs. I think Hendricks was making his first start back from the injured list about halfway through the year. He was walking out of the bullpen through the ivy, and the ovation that he got from the fans because of that World Series. I mean, he's one of those guys that never has to pay for a beer in Chicago again kind of thing, because he was part of the team that snapped that streak.
There was a saying, and I don't know if this gentleman I'm about to reference came up with it on his own. Payoff pitch to Alonso, lifted in the air to right center field. That's pretty deep. It's back near the wall. Adele over, makes the catch, and crashes into the wall. He caught it right in front of the Angels bullpen, about a dozen feet to the right of the 380 mark. It was not going to leave the yard, but Adele caught it, and then with that left shoulder hit the padded fence very, very hard, and makes the spectacular play for the first out here in the second inning.
That was tough because, again, Angels are not here very often, so the outlay of the outfield and the wall, where you are, how big the warning track is, just you don't know until you do it, and then Adele made the catch, brace for impact.
So here's Jeff McNeil. First pitch taken for a called strike, 0-1. Pete was the cleanup hitter, brought to you by Roto-Rooter. Leave plumbing to the pros at Roto-Rooter. But, we were talking about how Kyle Hendricks and all of his teammates from the 2015 Cubs, legends in Chicago. 0-1 to McNeil, lifted in the air to right field, moving over Soler, and he makes the catch for the second out. I don't know anybody in Pinconning, Michigan. So whoever's calling, get lost. 2 out, nobody on. Mark Vientos will be the batter. But anyway, just to tie it all together, the great hockey coach Fred Shiro, who coached the Philadelphia Flyers to a pair of Stanley Cups, wrote something on the Flyers' locker room chalkboard before they went out to play Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final in 1974 with a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Here's Vientos, first pitch, in for a called strike, 0-1. He said, "Win today, and we will walk together forever." Whether he came up with that on his own, I don't know. But that certainly applies to the 2015 Chicago Cubs, for whom Hendricks pitched. And the 0-1 to Vientos, popped in the air to shallow center. In comes Adele, and it falls in front of him because Rengifo, the second baseman, kept going out and closed ranks with Adele. And even though Adele appeared to have been calling, Rengifo didn't bail, and it falls in for a gift single by Mark Vientos.
Well, you have Adele making a catch against the wall in right center field. It looks like $1 million, and then you remember, oh yeah, the Angels are terrible defensively, and that is a play that kind of gives you that look that, yes, they are the worst team in baseball. As far as defensive war, however you want to call it, they just don't make a lot of plays defensively. Mets took advantage last night, and that one just fell in.
Well, they get the gift, and now we'll see if Brett Beatty can really exploit it in this second inning, which is powered by Invesco QQQ, the official ETF of the New York Mets. Tomorrow's innovation awaits with Invesco QQQ. First pitch, swung on and missed. The fastball, 0-1. Let's rethink possibility. Invesco Distributors Incorporated. So, 0-1 to Beatty, who's hit in 4 straight. He had a home run last night. It's 1-0 Angels. Vientos at first. 2 out here in the third.
What is it about baseball cards that make them so special? Why do you enjoy doing that?
Well, the biggest thing is I started collecting when I was a kid. O-Pee-Chee was a Canadian hockey league, and then the Canadian football. But I didn't start in the U.S. until I had signed professionally as a ball player. And when I got my first rookie card, and I've got it here with me.
Let's take a peek at that.
1966 with Billy Sorrell.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, diamond dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
You're near line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
Your MVP for plumbing solutions.
Roto-Rooter closes it up and sits down the side.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
What have we learned from baseball? Nothing ever goes according to plan. Accidents happen when you least expect them. If you've been injured, visit the Rothenberg Law Firm at injurylawyer.com.
We go to the third. Here's Keith with our special guest.
First pitch of the inning is fouled back by Nolan Shotwell. It is 1-0 Angels. Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin is in the building. How you doing?
Good to be in this great view. Oh, my God, you guys got it made. Got the whole stadium here. It's packed tonight. It's a gorgeous night for baseball.
Plus, we have air conditioning.
Oh, that's always good.
Montas deals to Shotwell. Pitch is fouled off. No balls and 2 strikes. Happy Gilmore 2 coming out Friday. Netflix. Did you know in 1996 the second one would be coming out on streaming?
never thought about streaming back then. It's incredible. I've been an ambassador for this movie for a long time, and finally Adam and Tim Hurley pulled it off, and it's really good. We had a premiere last night, and people are over the moon happy about it. Laughed very, very hard. So I'm thrilled.
We're all. I'm stoked for it. I still watch it every single time it's on TV. Here's the 0-2 to Shotwell. Missed low and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I know you were trying to prod at him for many years to get it going. So what did it take this time to actually put pen to paper for them?
That's a good question. I think what happened was they realized that it's time. I'll let this pitch go.
Here's the 1-2 by Montas. Lifted in the air to left field, pretty deep. Nimmo moving back toward the track. Eyes to the sky. Makes the catch for the first out. So what did it take for them to finally make that decision?
I think I helped. I dropped the ball a little bit. I was supposed to be quiet about it when he showed me, and he was doing his Love You series, where he does that stand-up comedy. It was a great show. He's nominated for an Emmy. Amazing. And he said, Shooter, look at this. You're going to love it. And there it was. Happy Gilmore 2.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, ruh-roh.
Here's Mike Trout. 1-0 Angels top 3. Pitch. Missed inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Now, Adam Sandler's back. You're back. Julie Bowen's back. Obviously, Bob Barker has passed away. Has his role kind of been reconfigured with someone else?
No, but most of them have other...
1-0 pitch is hit to the right side. Alonso has it on 1 hop. Flip to the pitch of covering in time. 2 down.
Chubbs Peterson's son is in. He's Lavelle. He's so funny. But no, Bob Barker was hard to repeat. But we do a couple of little... what do they call it? We have this scene where we have a big fighting scene, and we just kind of pay homage to the people we've lost since back in the day of 1996. So it's pretty cool.
Just looking at the trailer and seeing, okay, face, cast, celebrity. There's a lot of people in this movie. I know when you shoot a movie that you don't really get a chance to see everybody, but did you get some good memories to being around some of these people when you film this thing? First pitch to Taylor Ward's in for a strike.
Keith, you wouldn't believe how amazing it was. So many great athletes are in this movie. Everybody stepped up to the plate. They killed it. It was very funny. Everybody from all our heroes, our legends of golf.
0-1 pitch. In for a strike, 0-2.
Legends of golf and then legends in training. They're Scotty Scheffler's types. And I want to tell you, it was a complete blast just hanging with them. I wasn't even working. I had to come in and hang out with them. And I can call them friends now. They were just great guys.
1-0 Angels top 3. 0-2 to Ward. Misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, you play golf, right?
I do.
What, does Sandler play golf too?
Sandler plays golf, yeah. He's a pretty good athlete, all the way around. I don't know if he uses that crazy swing of his.
I remember the first series I had, the first home run I hit was a grand slam against Seattle, which was the team that I had played for the year before. As we know, Cleveland can get a little cold, so I would wear the dark blue long sleeves. And for some reason, this jersey, I always liked my jersey a little longer. The reasons for it, for a little padding, so when I would slide, I wouldn't get all patched up and roughed up.
On Friday, we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Mets down by a run, still 1-0 Los Angeles.
That was the best.
He's a great guy.
But it was also a case where we didn't have to tell him, we got to pay attention to the game, don't talk over a pitch. He's a fan, so instinctively he knew when to lay out. That's the best guest we've ever had in that capacity.
He has that touch and feel that you need when you're doing an interview on radio. Never easy to ask our guests to hold it and then let the pitch go by and then go back to what you're saying. First pitch to Alvarez is in for a strike, and a count 0-1, delivered by Kyle Hendricks to start this bottom of the 3rd. Alvarez, Mauricio, then the top with Brandon Nimmo, so 8-9-1 for the Mets. Alvarez calls for his time. Mets with just 1 hit so far. 1 base runner. Hendricks, the veteran, has struck out 1. That was Francisco Lindor. Alvarez, second game back after he was optioned to AAA. Had a big night last night. 2 walks and a double. 0-1. Missed outside. Change up. That's 1 ball and 1 strike. Alvarez for the year hitting .240, just 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and a .675 OPS. But hoping last night is kind of the beginning of part 2 of his season in a sense. The 1-1. Missed up high. 2 balls and a strike. Of course, on radio, you can't see it. That's our job to kind of paint the picture for you. But Alvarez is standing in a way and taking pitches in a way where he is in control. A lot more calm than he was at the beginning of the year. 2-1. Popped up, foul ground, first base side. Shotwell straddling the line, walks onto the grass, makes the catch in foul territory for the out. So Alvarez, the latest victim against Kyle Hendricks, and a slow fastball, even slower changeup. And here's Ronnie Mauricio. Speaking of pace of the game brought to you by Optimum Fiber. Don't take slow for an answer. Hendricks is one of the slowest starting pitchers in baseball. Trevor Williams with Washington is also in that category. Pitch to Mauricio, swing and a miss. Out in front of an 87-mile-an-hour four-seamer. Yes, he can be out in front of a fastball when it's that slow, and a count 0-1. Williams, you might remember, throws about 87, 88 miles an hour. Hendricks has him beat, throwing 86 to 87. 0-1. Fouled back behind home plate, and it's 0-2. The Angels out in front 1-0 on a Jorge Soler home run. Brandon Nimmo waits on deck. Orangey glow, sunset sky this time of night here in Queens. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Overhead wide 0-2. Bounce to the right side. First baseman Shotwell has it. Takes it himself in time. Mauricio is retired and there's 2 away. Mets.com/5050. The raffle for tonight. In honor of Disability Pride Month, the raffle will benefit the Cerebral Palsy Association of Nassau County, a nonprofit organization providing quality services for children and adults with disabilities to move forward one step at a time throughout their life to reach the highest level of independence. That is Mets.com/5050. Tickets also can be purchased online. Sales close at the end of the 6th. And you can participate from home as long as you're in the great state of New York. Here's Brandon Nimmo, first pitch. Lefty takes a little bit low with a sinker, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Hendricks has perennially been a strike thrower. 37 pitches tonight, 26.
Parts Authority Auto Parts Superstores, where the answer is yes.
Off we go, top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Los Angeles Angels. Joe Adell leading off for L.A., followed by Yoan Moncada and Jorge Soler. Now, Montas had a 1-2-3 third inning, bouncing back from the inning where he gave up certainly the run, but 3 total hits. So he's retired 4 straight Angels. Facing Adell, has hit a career-high 21 home runs this year. Pitch popped up, shallow center. Second baseman Beatty behind Lindor. Brett makes the catch on the grass. We'll make it 5 in a row retired by Frankie T. proudly. So here's Yoan Moncada, who took an 0 for his last time up, but he absolutely crushed a laser beam right at Pete Alonso, who made a leaping catch straight up over his head for the out. Switch hitter batting left. First pitch. Misses outside with a cutter, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Moncada used to be an absolutely huge prospect coming up with Boston. Played a lot of years, 8 of them with the White Sox. Actually signed a pretty big deal. I think it was worth about $70 million. Just never really stayed on the field or consistent. 1-0, that's taken low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. He was in the big deal when Boston acquired Chris Sale from the White Sox. That's how you know he was a pretty big prospect. Michael Kopech was also in that deal. He was throwing 100, still is, but now doing it for the Dodgers. Here's the windup and the 2-0 to Moncada. Swing and a miss. Cutter got by him, let her high, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Had a lot of back problems over the years. 10th major league season. Here on a 1-year, $5 million try to find it again deal. Here's the 2-1. Fouled into the mitt. Big rip at 95. Good heat there from Montas, and it's 2-2. I do enjoy Frankie Montas after games where he pitches and feels good, and reporters doing their job say, well, how did you feel? And he was going, well, I was throwing 97. I like when pitchers just say their velocity, and that gives you the indication that he's feeling good or not. So time called by Moncada. That one was only at 95, but Montas certainly has 97, 98 in the tank. Just his 5th start back from injury. The 2-2 from him. Swing and a miss. Snapped off a splitter down and in. Beautiful pitch for strike 3. His 3rd strikeout of the night. He has retired the last 6 that he's faced. That'll bring up the home run hitter of the night. Reason why the Angels have this 1-0 lead. It's Jorge Soler. Top of the 4th is sponsored by Cars for Kids. 877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K. To donate your car today. Soler, of course, big, powerful right-handed hitter. First pitch from Montas. Missed in tight, sinker. That's 1 ball and no strikes. You might remember that Soler was with the Braves at the end of last year and was traded to the Angels for Griffin Canning, who the Braves brought in-house and then did not give him a contract. 1-0, tapped toward 3rd. Mauricio waits on the hop, has it, takes his time firing over and gets Jorge Soler. Does not run that well.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, Diamond Dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
Line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
Anytime we can put on these uniforms, the same ones that those guys played before us in the Negro Leagues, it's an honor to put it on and to share this field with them.
It's a piece of history, so to be able to wear it present day is honestly an unreal feeling.
Cancer, including the most important one, yours. What does it take to face cancer with confidence? It takes MSK. Visit msk.org/expert. Because where you're treated first matters.
Baseball season is the perfect time to get a high-efficiency Peerless Boiler. Start saving now and upgrade today. You can find the Peerless Boiler that's right for your home or business and a list of local installers at peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers.
The bottom of the 4th inning is brought to you by Route 4 Hyundai in Paramus, New Jersey. Mets chasing a run. 1-0 Los Angeles. Kyle Hendricks, mentioned he is called the Professor. That is his nickname. He went to Dartmouth, so them's the breaks when you come out of the Ivy League. Facing Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. Second time through. Mets offense has been very, very quiet against Hendricks. We have told you about the low velocity, but there's a reason why, even with the low velocity, he's still getting big league hitters out. One hit allowed so far. Pitch to Lindor. Missed inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Francisco with his strikeout, the only strikeout for the Mets tonight, is over his last 27. Just desperate for a hit. Infielder around to the right. Hendricks fires. Pitch fouled back. That's 1 ball and 1 strike. Remember, it was last year, the very beginning of the season. Lindor started 1 for 31. And this is really, really extended now, too, after Lindor finally got off to a good start in 2025. The 1-1. Swing and a miss very late on the changeup. It only came in at 80 miles an hour. And it's 1-2. A little bit of deceptiveness for Hendricks when he curls back, shows you his numbers, and then fires home with that release point. You have to not only find the release point, but try to track the spin, track the speed. But Hendricks will throw you changeups to death, an occasional curve, and then try to slip a fastball by you at 87 miles an hour. There's the 1-2. Rip, foul down the first base line. Turned on that, but will foul. And it's a 1-2. Meat in the Order presented by the Chef IQ Sense, a cooking thermometer that pairs with your phone and ensures you never over or undercook your chicken, fish, or meat again. Buy one at chefiq.com. Overhead windup for Hendricks, the 1-2. Lifted in the air to center field. Playable for Adele, working his way to right center above that 5 in the grass. Makes the catch. 0 for 26. Excuse me, it's 0 for 28 now for Lindor. I'm losing track here. It's fortunate to have to report this kind of thing, but this is I'm mired in this slump for weeks now. And so 1 out will bring up Juan Soto with the Mets down 1-0. Check some scores brought to you by the New York Lottery. Play the new scratch-off games for your chance to win. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Pitch to Soto. Breaking ball drops low. 1-0. Detroit's been struggling, but had some early runs. Pittsburgh, though, out to a 5-3 lead, top of the 5th in Pittsburgh. Spencer Horwitz, 3 for 3, 2 RBIs.
Jay's grandson.
That's him. The 1-0. Missed outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Don't go looking for the receipts there, but Spencer has 3 for 3. That is true.
It's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Top 3 down in Atlanta. 4-0 Giants to lead over the Braves. Casey Schmidt with a home run for the Giants. 2-0. Soto takes the changeup on the outside corner, and it's 2-1. Giants have been falling big time. They are only 3 games over 500. They've lost 6 straight, 7 out of 10. This is, of course, all after trading for Rafael Devers. 2-1. Missed up high and away. 3 balls and a strike. I think Devers played first base tonight for the Giants. Time called by Soto. This weekend, Mets will be in San Francisco for 3 and then come back from that West Coast trip that finishes in San Diego, have an off day, and then host the Giants. So a lot of San Francisco coming the Mets' way. 3-1. Swing and a liner foul pull to the right. And it's 3-2 on Soto. You can see that these Mets hitters are just off balance. And it can be annoyingly frustrating when you face a guy like Hendricks because it seems easy. It's right there. It's not coming in fast. You just have to be able to make sure you're swinging at the right pitch. Lindor was out in front. Soto's been out in front. There's the 3-2. Just missed outside, ball 4. Soto is on with his major league leading 80th walk of the year. First walk issued tonight by Hendricks. The Mets all of a sudden have the tying man on in the 4th with Pete Alonso coming up. And that's all it is. It's a 1-0 deficit for the Mets. Jorge Soler's home run with 2 outs in the second inning off Frankie Montas has been it. But because Hendricks has been working it, it's felt like an even bigger deficit for the Mets. Hendricks steps off, and this is just the second time he's working from the stretch. Pete Alonso almost got him to right center. Great catch by Joe Adele on the run, crashing into the wall in right center. Took away a base hit at least. Pitch here, misses inside with ball 1. Got Pete 1 for his last 14. Hasn't homered since that dramatic home run in the opening game of that Baltimore series. The Met offense, the top 4 came back. It's been a long time for Pete. 21 homers this year, the 1-0. Flick foul to the right, and it's 1-1. Mets have seen Hendricks a bunch. This is the 8th start he's had. Pitched with 2.75 ERA for many, many years. That's regular season numbers for Hendricks. Howie mentioned the postseason start in 15. 1-1 on Alonso. Pitch. Fouled back. High inside fastball, and it's 1-2. Hendricks was drafted by Texas in 2011. Traded to the Cubs when he was a minor leaguer. Ryan Dempster was part of that deal years and years ago. And is pitching his first year anywhere else but Chicago as a major leaguer. He was actually, the Angels drafted him out of high school in 2008. So this is almost a little bit of a homecoming for him. Soto runs, pitch coming, it's lifted in the air to left field. Right at Taylor Ward working his way in, makes the catch, fires toward first to try to double up Soto, and it's in time. Soto did get back sliding in, but he came in late. It's a double play, and the inning is over. Soto trying to steal the bag on the pitch, ends up getting doubled off at first. The inning is over. No runs, no hits, a walk, nobody left. 1-0 Angels through 4 on Odyssey Mets Radio, powered by the all-new Nissan Murano.
Let's go, Mets! And we're back talking all things connectivity.
There's so much history here, and when I put it on and it's so light, it just feels just right. It feels just right. I mean, look at this. It got the city on it. When I was 7 years old, my uncle takes me where? To Shea Stadium. Darryl Strawberry hits a home run, and I become a fan for life.
5th, 1-0 Angels, Howie.
All right, thank you, Keith. 8-9-1 for the Angels, beginning with Logan O'Hoppe, the right-hand hitting catcher. And the first pitch tapped slowly towards third, charging Mauricio. Gloves and throws in time, one away. One pitch, one out. That phrase is certainly music to the ears of Carlos Mendoza and Jeremy Hefner. So Montas right now at 52 pitches with one out in the 5th inning, and that is economical when you use the equation of 15 per inning being average. And so quickly one out, and here's Luis Rengifo, the switch-hitting second baseman, who will bat left-handed here against Montas in this 5th inning, which is sponsored by Elec 825, building our future. And the first pitch, down the middle for a called strike, 0-1. You know, he talked so much about how the starting pitchers have not given the Mets sufficient length and how overworked the bullpen has been, forcing them to move so many people in and out of there. The 0-1 line towards the gap in right center. That's going to be in for a base hit. In the alley, it's cut off by McNeil. Rengifo to second, and the throw is way offline. Sliding in safely with a 2-base hit is the suddenly red-hot Luis Rengifo.
That's 5 hits in the series. A guy hitting .234 coming in. Man.
3 for 4 last night, 2 for 2 tonight. Back to the top of the order in Zach Neto. So, yeah, the Mets certainly have had their challenges when it comes to getting sufficient length out of their starting rotation. But, you know, this team just has not hit consistently. And I know that with runners in scoring position in particular, that gets a lot of the attention, and rightly and understandably so. But it's been pretty much a season-long thing, and it takes a toll. First pitch to Neto. Fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. Now, last night, the Mets were able to hit and come back in a game they trailed 4-0 and won 7-5. Tonight, though, just one hit through the first 4 innings against Kyle Hendricks. And the Angels with a runner at second, 1 out. The 0-1 to Neto in the dirt, split, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The Angels tonight have 6 hits. 2 of them have been doubles, 1 have been homers. And this is for an Angels team that, as a rule, don't get a whole lot of extra base hits. 1-1 the count. And time call, I should say extra base hits, with the exception of the home run, which is what they do very well. But when it comes to doubles, they've hit fewer of those than any team in the league, for example. So, they got guys who have produced in the power department, and yet the long hit, apart from the ones that leave the building, have often been elusive for the Angels. 1-1 to Neto. Renifo leads from second. The pitch. Low outside with another split. And so, Montas behind here, 2 balls and 1 strike. Mauricio is backed up at third. Got 2 strides off the line. Beatty keeping Renifo close at second. 2-1 pitch. Low and away with a slider. It's 3-1. Neto atop the order here. Shanoel on deck. And then Mike Trout. So Montas, working from the first base side of the rubber, brings the hands together, checks the runner, and the 3-1 pitch. Hit hard towards third, but foul, rolling down the third base line. Now's the perfect time to get a Peerless boiler. Don't wait. Go to peerlessboilers.com for more information and an installer near you. Remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers. Angels leading 1-0. However, they have a runner in scoring position in Renifo with 1 out. 3-2 to Zach Neto. Montas to the belt. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and another foul off the end of the bat, just rolling to the right. But all of this continuing a duel that has now reached 6 pitches and starts to at least add to the still modest pitch count of Frankie Montas. Frankie able to slow it down a little bit between the foul ball and going to the back of the mound to pick up the rosin bag. Just takes a deep breath and ready to go back to work. 3-2 the count. Montas ready. Payoff pitch. Low outside. Ball 4. Missed with a slider. And Montas has walked his first batter of the night. And the Angels have 2 on. First and second, 1 out. And Nolan Shanoel coming up.
And Francisco Alvarez going out to take a walk to the mound. This is part of the Alvarez leadership quality that he possesses, picking the right time to go out there and calm a pitcher down. And Alvarez, Mets were missing that just a little bit when he was down at AAA, getting right for so many different things, offensive, framing, blocking. But this is the part of the game that you really can't replace, even though Luis Torrens does a pretty good job, is just being able to handle and take command of a pitching staff, even if it is a 10-year veteran like Frankie Montas that he's only worked with just a little bit.
So Shanoel will be the batter, and Montas is going to look for a ground ball here. Crowd's reacting because while they were conversing at the mound, the City Vision board just panned the retired numbers top the left field stands here. When they came to David Wright's number 5, most recently retired, that drew the applause. Sure did on Saturday. What a day that was. Shanoel, left-hand batter. And the righty Montas might have taken too much time. He did, and it's going to be ball 1.
I don't know if that's Alvarez not getting the pitch there in time or Montas not deciding what he wants to throw, but that just should not happen.
1-0 the count before a pitch is even thrown. Lindsey, Bob, and Ralph never used that phrase. So Montas to the belt, and here's the 1-0. Down and in, ball 2. So 2-0, and you wonder about when guys wear the pitch comm, how does that even happen? You know? It shouldn't take that long to get together when the communication is a little bit easier, or you would think easier. 2-0 on the way, in for a called strike, 2-1.
You just had a mound visit too.
Yeah, I mean,
go back with a plan. No, didn't happen.
So 2-1 now to Shanoel. Lindor basically holding Rengifo on at second base. Here's the pitch. Hit hard on the ground towards first. A fair ball beyond the diving Alonso and into right field. Caroms off the jetting stands. Around third and scoring is Rengifo. Going to third and stopping there is Neto. Going to second with a double and a run batted in is Shanoel. And the Angels lead 2-0, and the Mets are lucky that it wasn't even worse, because as the relay throw was coming in, it went wide of the plate up the third baseline, and that basically necessitated a dive to prevent that ball from going further into foul ground and allowing another run to score. It's Beatty who unleashed the throw, and Alvarez had to dive and slide just about halfway up the line. So 2-0 Angels, and now runners at second and third with one out, and the Mets move the infield in. Here's Mike Trout. First pitch, foul back to the screen, 0-1. So perhaps a crossroads in this game for Montas and the Mets. Again, the Mets did come back from down 4 last night. Here they've been limited to 1 hit through 4 innings. Angels now with 7. They lead 2-0. 3 doubles and a homer among those 7 hits. Runners lead from second and third. The 0-1. Trout fouls a fastball back to the screen, and it's 0-2. Trout 1 for 2 tonight, so he is 6 for 21 in his career against Montas.
Also sitting on 998 RBIs, so he certainly has a little extra on his mind in this at bat with 2 men in scoring position.
Outfield around towards right against him. The 0-2. In tight with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Trout, with Taylor Ward waiting on deck. And Trout also is 5 home runs away from 400. 1-2 the count. Montas to the belt, the infield in. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a fastball. And potentially a king-sized out for Montas. 2 men away. Now the Mets can move the infield back. 4th strikeout recorded by Frankie. And now Ward, who tapped back to the mound and struck out in his previous plate appearances.
Well, just like Edwin Diaz did last night of the 9th inning, Montas went just straight fastballs on Trout. My best against your best. And that last one was right down the middle, and Trout couldn't get to it. So Mets are not afraid to pitch right at Mike Trout.
It's not the Mike Trout before the injuries all started to pile up and take their toll. So here is Ward with the infield back, second and third, 2 out. First pitch, slider outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Mets bullpen is quiet. As far as the pitch count is concerned, Montas is right on target. This next one will be his 70th. 2 out in the 5th inning. Neto at third. Shanoel at second. The 1-0 pitch. Sinker in tight near his hands. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Montas allowed 2 hits in the first, 3 in the second, and settled in, got the Angels in order in the 3rd and 4th, but 2 more hits and a walk here in the 5th. And the 2-0 coming. Breaking ball over for a called strike, a sweeper, and it's 2-1. With Mauricio deep at third, the runner at third, Zach Neto, can get a real good secondary lead. The 2-1 pitch outside with another slider, ball 3. So Montas running into trouble here in the 5th inning. He's staring at Neto, who takes a good lead down the line at third again with Mauricio deep. 3-1 the count. The pitch to Ward. Swinging a high fly ball to right, slicing towards the corner. It's going to hit the seats and foul ground and out of play. So, still full on Ward with Joe Adell waiting on deck.
Just thinking about the runner at third, taking his lead, pitcher in the windup. Montas is looking at it because Montas has a really, really slow move and windup to the plate. I don't think Neto's going to try it, but this is the kind of guy to try it on.
So, Montas with a payoff pitch, and it's high and tight, ball 4, and that loads the bases. 2 walks in the inning along with 2 doubles. Yeah, that's enough to prompt a visit from Jeremy Hefner, the Mets pitching coach.
There's a lot of stressful pitches in this inning for Montas. He's again limited the damage at this point. If he gets out of here, 2 runs over 5, considering some of the innings that he's had. Second one, a lot of traffic. This one, a lot of traffic. Would be good, but when you're in this situation, your pitch count rises because the stress with these guys on base makes it tough.
So Jeremy Hefner out to the mound, talking with Frankie Montas, and the slowdown in the action is brought to you by Iservay. Nobody's getting up yet in the Mets bullpen. Again, the need is to push Montas as far as they can. I mentioned the fact that Edwin Diaz, probably Oscar Brazaban, are down tonight. Maybe Brooks Raley as well. So there's a shortage of sorts out there, but again, Justin Garza and Rico Garcia have joined the bullpen for tonight. They're ready to go if needed. So now is Montas. His first pitch to Adell is a breaking ball over a called strike. Gets the sweeper over the inner half for strike 1. Adell just 1 for his last 13. Head back to the mound and popped out to second. 2-0 Angels. They've got the bases loaded, 2 out on the 5th. Montas with a left leg kick deals, and a high fly ball to straightaway center. Deep but playable. McNeil is back, edge of the track, makes the catch, and that retires the side. So Montas faces 7 batters in the 5th inning, but the Angels only score 1 run.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, Diamond Dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
Line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and in some ways the Mets are very fortunate to be behind just 2-0. Remember, the Angels had a runner thrown out at the plate in the 1st inning and just left the bases loaded, although they did score a run in the 5th. So here's Jeff McNeil to lead off, and he goes after the first pitch, pops it in the air to shallow left center. Over is Taylor Ward, the left fielder, and he makes the catch for the first out. McNeil, the center fielder, and Centers Healthcare wants to remind you that they're not just care, they're care that moves you. CentersHealthcare.com. And now Vientos, who has the only Mets hit. And Kyle Hendricks, at least inwardly, might be kicking himself a little bit, because had there been better communication between Joe Adell in center field and Rengifo, the second baseman who was going out on the ball, it fell in, should have been caught. Vientos takes a called strike, 0-1. Had it been and everything else had played out the same way, the Mets would still be looking for their first hit. But they've got one. The Angels have 7. It is 2-0 Los Angeles, or Anaheim. I mean, it is kind of silly. Same TV market, and that's the point of the owner, Artie Moreno, who changed the name back from what its original name was. Remember when the Angels were an expansion team in 1961, and the 0-1 to Vientos swung out and missed a changeup 0-2, they were the Los Angeles Angels. Of course, that's where they played, in L.A. They actually played a year at Old Wrigley Field. Yes, there was a Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. The 0-2 to Vientos. And there, strike 3 called. He got him with a changeup. And for Hendricks, just a second strikeout. 2 men away. Brett Beatty coming up. So they played their first year in 1961 at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. It had been a Pacific Coast League ballpark. And it's probably better known for the fact that that's where the old show Home Run Derby was filmed. And then when Dodger Stadium opened in 1962, the Angels played there. Brett Beatty takes a little bit high, a curve, 1-0. A lot of people don't remember or realize the Angels shared the ballpark at Chavez Ravine, called Dodger Stadium, for 4 years, 62, 3, 4, and 5. The 1-0, taken inside, ball 2. And then the new ballpark in Anaheim opened in 1966. And when the Angels started play there, they rebranded themselves the California Angels. Later, it would become the Anaheim Angels. 2-0 to Beatty, hit high in the air to right center field, pretty deep. That's going to fall in for a hit and roll to the wall. Beatty is on his way to second, and he'll hold on there with 2 away, and Brett Beatty has a 5-game hitting streak and his 9th 2-base hit of the year.
He's loved that gap in right center. That's where he went out last night for that home run that got the Mets back into the game. At the time, cut 4-0 to 4-2. This one, same area, though a little shy of the wall, and maybe the same thing, get the Mets back into the game.
So Francisco Alvarez will be the tying man at the plate. He almost hit one out last night, hitting it off the right field wall for a big double in the 8th inning when the Mets would score the 2 runs, which allowed them to win the game. First pitch, swing and a miss, way out in front of a changeup, and it's 0-1. Although Chris Taylor, who was in right field in the 8th inning last night, didn't exactly distinguish himself going back on that ball. But Alvarez would gladly take it. And it was a good night all around for Francisco, defensively and offensively. And here he is now with an opportunity to get the Mets a run closer or even tie it if he goes deep. The 0-1. Fastball on the outside corner. And it's 0-2 to Alvarez. He's only hit $194 with men in scoring position. His average for the year at .238, but certainly a shortened year to this point. It's just his 37th game. Remember, he had the broken hamate bone in spring training, and then when he didn't hit and struggled defensively, sent down to AAA, and Mets catchers did not provide much offense while he was out. Here's the 0-2. High and tight with a fastball, and the count 1-2. In fact, in the 23 games that Alvarez was in the minor leagues, Met catchers, Alvarez, or at least Torrens and Hayden Singer, combined to hit 197 with just 2 extra base hits. 1-2 pitch, check swing, roller foul off to the right of home plate. Just 2 extra base hits by Mets catchers in the 23 games during which Alvarez was working his way back to the big leagues.
And as you said last night, first game back, extra base hit to right center field. That's what he can do when he's right.
1-2 to him. Here's the pitch. Swing on a foul, straight back out of play into the Hyundai Club seats. Kyle Hendricks' pitch count is just fine. He is at 62 with 2 out and a 1-2 count in the 5th inning. That is extremely economical. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Down and in with a sinker, 2-2. In fact, at second base, Brett Beatty really bounced around and finally dashed about 5 feet down the line before putting on the brakes. No sense trying to steal third with 2 out here. It's never a real good idea. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a drive to left field. It's pretty well hit. Ward going back onto the track at the wall. It's gone! Francisco Alvarez goes deep, and the Mets have tied the game 2-2. Alvarez with his 4th of the year, his first one since coming back. It is a joyous trip around the bases for Francisco Alvarez. He's back, and so are the Mets in this game. It's the Mets 2 and the Angels 2 here in the 5th inning. He is pumped.
What a return for him last night. Just a little taste of it. Couple of walks, a big late double, and now the big power swing. And remember, this kid was the top prospect in the game. And this is just a little bit of what he can do. We all know he has huge power. He just hadn't been doing it yet. That trip to the minors might have been perfect to get him right.
Well, here's Ronnie Mauricio batting left-handed, rolls one to the right side and on through, a base hit into right center field for Mauricio. So after Hendricks had retired the first 2 here in the 5th, double homer single, Mets have tied the game. They've got the go-ahead runner at first, a guy who potentially could steal a base in Mauricio. We'll see if that's in play here with Brandon Nimmo coming up, and the Angels infield is going to huddle up on the mound. Pause for station ID while they do.
This is Odyssey Mets Radio on WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Howie Rose, Keith Rand with you at Citi Field. Mets 2, Angels 2. Mauricio at first. 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Alvarez delivering the Mets' first runs of the game. Sponsored by Sloman's. Call or visit Slomans.com to schedule a free estimate on a new central AC system. Sloman's, the difference is human. So, there's Nimmo. Keep an eye on Mauricio at first. It's a medium-sized lead, but immediately a throw over. And Hendricks thinking the same way. Mauricio dives back safely. Mauricio has 2 stolen bases this year. He's not been caught. At third, Moncada even with a bag and off the line. Big lead. Mauricio's running. Pitch taken up high for a ball. Throw to second, not even close. It's a stolen base for Ronnie Mauricio, and he has done it the way several of the Mets have lately. He takes a walking lead off of first, then he stretches it out, and noticing that the pitcher is paying him virtually no mind, he decides, okay, let's hit the gas. And he was in there easily. Third stolen base, 1-0 to Nimmo. The pitch, swinging a liner towards left center. Over comes Adell. He won't get it. It's a base hit. Here comes Mauricio around third. He scores standing with a go-ahead run. On at first with an RBI single is Brandon Nimmo. The Mets are leading by a score of 3-2. And the stolen base, the key factor in the go-ahead run coming home.
Now, how about the artist formerly known as the Baby Mets? Beatty doubles to start this whole thing. Alvarez goes deep. Mauricio keeps it alive with a single and a stolen base. And that makes it easy. Once hitting is contagious, it's cliche, but we're seeing it come to life in this 5th inning. The bottom of the order, now the top, and the Mets now have the lead.
And with Connor Brogdon having been throwing in the L.A. bullpen, well, Kyle Hendricks is leaving this game as Ray Montgomery, the pitching coach, is out at the mound making this pitching change and the slowdown in action, which is brought to you by Izervay.
Hey, baseball fan.
I remember the first series I had, the first home run I hit was a grand slam against Seattle, which was the team that I had played for the year before. As we know, Cleveland can get a little cold, so I would wear the dark blue long sleeves. And for some reason, this jersey, I always liked my jersey a little longer. The reasons for it, for a little padding, so when I would slide, I wouldn't get all patched up and roughed up.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, Diamond Dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
You're near a line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
I feel like food and sharing a meal with someone is a universal language. You can't go to a ballpark and not have a nice hot dog. So if I'm at the ballpark, I'm gonna get a nice heavy glizzy. You gotta have chili on there, you gotta have cheese. If your hot dog isn't bending in the middle because it's like about to fall apart, then you're not doing it right. So you gotta have a glizzy and then something cold, whatever it is, beer, lemonade. You gotta have something cold to wash that hot dog down with.
Well, right-hander Connor Brogdon, the new pitcher for the Angels. And boy, that really happened quickly to Kyle Hendricks, who was absolutely cruising, allowing one hit into the fifth inning. Retired the first two hitters, but a double by Beatty, the homer by Alvarez. Mauricio singled, stole second. Nimmo drove him home with a single. 3-2 New York, and here's Lindor. First pitch, lifted in the air, center field, a lot of hang time. Adele there, makes the catch. And that retires the side. So Lindor 0 for 3 and 0 for his last 20.
It's a five-man umpiring crew here today in this young superstar.
And did their feet get tangled up? Yes, so Hoppy tripped. They got their feet tangled up before the ball came down.
That goes helicoptering into the net. It's prime time.
And that ball is off the ladder. It's actually off the ladder. You never see that.
A little tumble behind the mound. Hat fell off. That was awesome. I mean, you just don't see that.
Some overnight oats right before the game. My teammates look at me like, what are you doing, dude?
My mom's cooking, probably. She makes some good. She's got a tuna fish casserole. That's pretty good.
I went 5 for 5. I need to eat the same thing. Last time, Saturday, I ate arepa with eggs. And then next day, I got to eat arepas with eggs. So my mom make it for me. And then when my mom is with me,
everything's good.
I save a lot of money.
Estamos lindo.
3, the Angels 2, and Frankie Montas faces Yoan Moncada to lead off. Switch hitter batting left, and the first pitch is a fastball outside, ball 1. It'll be Moncada, Soler, and Ohapi here in the Angels' half of the 6th inning. 76 pitches through 5 for Montas. That's fine. And the 1-0 coming. Outside with a fastball, ball 2, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Sponsored by Spectrum, life moves, and so should your connections. Get fast and reliable speeds on the network that moves with you. Spectrum. 2-0. Outfield straight up. Mauricio deep and off the line at third. Pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen. It's 2-1. Mets have Rico Garcia. What an interesting week or two he's had. Throwing in the Mets bullpen.
Michael Tonkin of 2025.
He's on his way. It's probably a franchise or two short yet, but there's time. Here's the 2-1. In for a called strike, a cutter. 2-2 to Moncada. Garcia made an appearance with the Mets a couple of weeks ago. DFA'd him. Yankees picked him up. They DFA'd him. Now he's a Met again. 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3, got him with a split. So Montas with his 5th strikeout. 1 man away, and it'll bring up Soler, who homered with 2 out in the 2nd inning. Again, Montas, in his 4 previous starts, has thrown 80, 80, 77, and 83 pitches. He's at 81 here. Oh, would the Mets love to get him through this 6th inning. So here is Soler, and the first pitch to the right-hand batter, a fastball inside, ball 1. Looking at some scores from Food Bazaar Supermarket. Shop local, eat global. Phillies continue to lead the Red Sox 4-1. They're in the top of the 7th at Philadelphia. Now the 1-0 to Soler. Sinker missed down and in, ball 2. Yankees 4, Blue Jays 1, bottom 5 in Toronto. Cubs lead the Royals 2-0, top 3 at Wrigley. 2-0 pitch, breaking ball, slider in for a called strike. It's 2-1. Later, Milwaukee at Seattle. How about the Brewers? They've won 11 straight. They now have a 1-game lead over the Cubs in the Central, and they've got the best record in all of baseball. Here's the 2-1. In for a called strike, 2-2. Last year, the way things shook out, Mets wound up playing the Brewers in a wild card round, and that's certainly a possibility this year, too, depending on how things develop. Right now, the Brewers unstoppable, at least lately. 2-2 pitch somewhere for ball 3. Let's see that from the center field camera. Roll it, boys.
I think Frankie Montas gave a little smiling look at Laz Diaz. Kind of think of what we're thinking. Where did that miss?
Yeah, we didn't see a replay from the center field camera. So 3-2 to Soler. And Montas from the first base side of the rubber looking in. Still plenty of pitch clock, but it's winding down now. And finally, Montas deals. Swing and a chopper foul right next to the Angels dugout on the third base side. Suit up this season at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Visit MLBshop.com for Mets gear and today's special offer. 3-2 to Soler. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled into the mid of Alvarez. Strike 3. Strikeout number 6 for Montas. And with 2 men away, it'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Logan O'Hoppe.
It's good to see velo here late in an outing from Montas. He talks about it all the time. Velocity is a big indicator. That was at 97. Back of his outing, toward the end of his gas tank. Still has the heat.
3rd time through the order, too, and he's facing the number 8 hitter for a 3rd time. Pitch to O'Hoppe, in for a called strike, a slider, 0-1. And again, it's going to be a piecemeal attempt to put the bullpen together for the final few innings if that's how this shakes out. The 0-1, O'Hoppe takes down and in, a split, 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, we assume no Diaz, probably no Brazaban, quite possibly no Raley. So, mention the 2 new arms here, Garza and Garcia. Garcia's already hot. The 1-1. Swinging a liner the other way, a base hit going into right field. Picked up by Soto, and Garcia might not only be hot, he might be on his way in. And here comes Carlos Mendoza. He's not going to wait any longer. The sign goes to the bullpen, and with 2 out and a switch hitter, Luis Rengifo, a hot guy the last 2 days, coming up. That's it for Montas, and this call to the bullpen is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play the newest scratch-off games for a chance to win.
Think a new central air conditioning system is out of your budget? Think again. Sloman's is here to change the game with sizzling summer savings. They're offering cutting-edge 18-SEER 2025 refrigerant-compliant R4.
a five-man umpiring crew here today in this young superstar.
And did their feet get tangled up? Yes, so Hoppy Tritt, they got their feet tangled up before the ball came down.
That goes helicoptering into the net. It's prime time.
And that ball is off the ladder. It's actually off the ladder. You never see that.
A little tumble behind the mound. Hat fell off. That was awesome. I mean, you just don't see that.
Where the Mets are leading the Angels 3-2. And so the second Rico Garcia era in New York Mets history is about to begin, as Garcia got into 2 games with the Mets, pitched a total of 4 2/3 innings, allowing 1 hit, no runs, didn't walk anybody, strikeout 3. So you might wonder, what did he do to be DFA'd by the Mets? Well, he was. The Yankees claimed him, made 1 appearance for the Yankees. They DFA'd him, and here he is, back with the Mets. Facing Rengifo, switch hitter batting left, and the first pitch taken low for ball 1.
The thing I love about that the most is that the team that Rico pitched against was the Yankees pitched really well against him and then got ditched and went to the team that he pitched well against. I know. You can't make it up.
Not these days. You want to know the count to Rengifo, the pitch. Swinging a foul, back over the screen, 1-1. He is from Honolulu, Hawaii. 6th pitcher and 7th player to be born in Hawaii and get into a game for the Mets. Lefty Carlos Diaz, Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez. But wait, there's more. 1-1 to Rengifo, the pitch. Swing and a miss at a good-looking curve, and it's 1-2. Benny Agbayani, Tyler Yates, and Jordan Yamamoto, other Hawaiians. And a former Mets manager was telling me yesterday that what a new home in Hawaii. I believe he said in Kapalua. Joe Torre. Boy, was it great to visit with Joe yesterday. One of the great people in this game for so many years. 1-2 to Rengifo. Now the pitch. Taken low. 2-2. Alvarez gets up. Thinking about a back pick to first that he does not throw. And Joe was here yesterday promoting his Safe at Home Foundation, which is designed to benefit kids in particular who have had to deal with violence in the home, domestic violence, which was sadly a part of Joe Torre's upbringing. 2-2 to Rengifo. Garcia deals. Swing on a ground ball wide of second. Moving to his right, Beatty. He's got it and flips a backhand toss to Lindor for the force play that retires the side. No runs a hit. No error.
It's time to blast your entrance music, Leo, because it's finally your moment to take center stage. You've been working hard since the beginning of the season, and now you're ready to unleash your best moves on the field to stun your opponents and fans. Your teammates will be cheering you on from the dugout as you hit another long ball.
Guess who that is? Roger McDowell.
Check him out. He has his uniform on upside down with the shoes on the hand, and it looks like he's walking on his hands. Has his cap hanging down. That's supposed to be his head. Well, the Mets really trying to turn it around. They do, however, trail in this ball game 4-0. I love that.
Back here at Citi Field again, the Mets lead the Angels 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. I hope you saw the picture that Madge took of Chris McDonald, now better known as Shooter McGavin, with Keith and me when Shooter or Chris was on with us in the 3rd inning. Juan Soto leads off 3-2 Mets, takes the first pitch low for ball 1. I only say that because it's a very interesting picture that if you look carefully at will no doubt educate you on how we have adorned our radio booth.
Oh.
The 1-0 in for a called strike, 1-1.
Did we break the fourth wall there ourselves?
No, not at all. No, we broke a wall outside, but that's a whole other story. Soto flied to left and walked, takes low. Ball skips off the glove of O'Hoppe and goes to the backstop. And it's 2-1. I remember when Marty Brennaman, the great Hall of Fame broadcaster of the Reds, was doing their games. Their booth was a whole office. The 2-1 on the way, tap foul, straight down at home plate. It's 2-2. And all kinds of great pictures and creative stuff in Marty's booth. And in Cincinnati, there was a guy who ran the elevator there. And, I mean, that was his job, and that elevator was his office, and it's the first time I'd ever seen this. That gentleman, and that's what he was. I mean, just a real nice, pleasant Midwestern gentleman. He had pictures of his whole family hanging up in the elevator. 2-2 to Soto. Lifted in the air, foul down the third base side and out of play behind the dugout. Now, I don't know that we have quite the same style of the adornments that we feature in the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. Pitch to Soto is a changeup down and away, ball 3. But it's our little home, and we're proud of it. And I think you might enjoy looking at it too. You haven't lived till you've seen Madge ready to play pickleball. Among other little features that we have. Payoff pitch to Soto. Outside, ball 4. So Brogdon, who got Lindor to fly to center to end the 5th inning, walks the leadoff man here in the 6th. Second time for Soto. Nothing new. He's the Major League's leader in walks. And it'll bring up Pete Alonso. Pete flied to center and deep to right center. Joe Adele in center ran hard into the outfield wall, made a nice catch in the 2nd, then flied out to left, and Soto, who'd been running on the pitch, was doubled off the 1st. And Alonso fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1. Jeff McNeil waiting on deck. Angels 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Mets 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. Both the Mets and Phillies leading at this point. The 0-1 in the dirt. Nice block by O'Hoppe at the changeup. And it's 1-1. Phillies up 4-1 over the Red Sox. That game in the top of the 8th inning. And if you're wondering why are they so far ahead of the Mets, who are in the bottom of the 6th inning, they start their games earlier on weeknights now. What is it, 6:45, I think? They start in Philly. Throw to first, and diving back safely is Soto.
The answer is yes. I keep forgetting that when Madge says yes, only we can hear that.
Yeah.
The affirmative, that yes, they do start at 6:45.
Yeah, so we need to translate what Madge told us, and the best that I can see or compare it to is yes. 1-1 to Alonso is taken low. A changeup, 2 balls and 1 strike.
When we went to Cleveland last year, they start their weekday games at 6. We were walking back to the hotel while the sun was still out after the game was over. That's the best start time we've ever found in the major leagues.
Well, here's the 2-1 pitch. Alonso gets jammed and pops the ball up. Foul ground, first base side. Down the line, the first baseman, Shonowell, and he makes the catch. O'Hoppe, the catcher, was moving after it as well, but he bailed in a hurry when that freight train named Shonowell came down the line. So Alonso fouls out. 1 man away. And Jeff McNeil will be the batter. He is 5th in the Mets batting order, so he proudly wears the title of 5th batter spotlight tonight, sponsored by Key Food. Sure, it means the world to him. Look for all of your favorite products at your local Key Food and their family of supermarkets. First pitch to McNeil, hit high in the air to right field. Deep but playable. Soler is back in front of the track, makes the one-hand catch. Soto tags, drawing a strong throw, which comes in on one hop to Neto at second, and there are 2 men away. Soto still at first. Before Vientos comes up, we'll pause for station identification.
This is Odyssey Mets Radio on WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Howie Rose, Keith Radd, with you here at Citi Field. Mets lead the Angels 3-2 with 2 out. Soto at first here in the 6th inning, and now Vientos is 1 for 2. First pitch just missed the outside corner, a cutter, and it's 0-1. Ryan Zephyr-John, a right-hander, is throwing in the Philadelphia bullpen, or at least in the Angels bullpen. Soto's running. The 1-0 swung on and missed. O'Hoppy's throw not nearly in time. It's a stolen base for Juan Soto, his 13th of the year. That gives the Mets a runner in scoring position with 2 men out. And a 1-1 count on Vientos.
And for Soto, that is steal number 13 this year. That is a career high. And Antoine Richardson, we've said his name 1,000 times on the broadcast, the Mets first base coach, a huge part of the Mets running game, getting everybody running a little bit more this year.
Well, 1-1. Taken a little bit low, 2 balls and 1 strike. And one of the reasons that they are a little bit more aggressive is that Antoine is brilliant at picking up a pitcher's repertoire and getting a sense for what he's throwing and when. The 2-1 fastball outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. You know, I'm not saying he's got every pitcher's pitches, but he's pretty good at deciphering that repertoire. And he's not the only one. Forgot who I asked not too long ago, but I was told, and here's the 3-1 on the way, low outside, ball 4. So Vientos draws the walk, and a hot hitter, and Brett Beatty is due up. Let's see what's going on here.
Looks like the pitching coach, Barry Enright, going out for a chat.
2 walks in the inning. Zephyr-John's a right-hander, as is Brogdon. So it looks like since it's Barry Enright, they'll stay with Brogdon here. But I was told that all in all, first base coaches across the board in baseball, they have the opposing pitcher's pitches, or a pretty good handle on them, about 70% of the time. That's really impressive when you consider what a sophisticated, not only eye, but mind you have to have in order not only to recognize what a pitcher might do on a certain pitch preparatory to actually throwing it, but just to be sharp enough to look for, identify, and decipher all of that at a pretty early point in a game or a pitcher's appearance.
I mean, Antoine, just spoke about him again. He'll just watch film, just study guys, and eventually in the majors, there's only so many guys, so you just build a book and you start to add to it what you know, what tells they have, and how to read them. And the Mets have been reading them beautifully.
And that's about the base running. Here's Brett Beatty. First pitch swung on and missed a changeup, 0-1. As far as hitters, believe it or not, there were some hitters who didn't want to know. They didn't want a pitcher's pitch for whatever reason. Willie Mays, so I've been told. Fran Healy, a former broadcast partner of mine on the TV side, played with Willie in San Francisco. Said Mays didn't want to know. Somebody said, I got this guy. He'd say, keep it to yourself. I don't know why, but he was Willie Mays. The 0-1 to Beatty is low, a changeup, 1 ball and 1 strike.
We have noticed with runners at second base, especially, they'll hop, they'll make a motion, something. Usually a hop signals breaking ball's coming. And so the hitter sees that corner of his eye. Sometimes that's just enough to help, but some guys don't like it.
1-1 on the way, a fastball in for a called strike, and it's 1-2. Sometimes all the hitter does want is location, more so than the pitch itself. So 1-2 to Beatty. Soto at second, Vientos at first. 2 out. The pitch hit foul off the netting and into the camera well next to the Angels dugout on the third base side. Hey, don't miss your chance to relive history on Saturday, September 13th Over 40 Mets legends will be back here at Citi Field for what we like to call Old Timers Day, but they're going to call it the Alumni Classic Game. For tickets and details, go to Mets.com/Alumni Classic. 1-2 to Beatty. Now the pitch. In there, strike 3 called, side retired. Got him with a changeup. No runs, no hits. 2 walks, 2 left. The end of 6. Mets 3, Angels 2 on Odyssey. We go to the 7th inning here at Citi Field with the Mets out in front of the Angels. 3-2. The assignment tonight for the bullpen, get 10 outs. Rico Garcia got the first one to end the top of the 6th. He'll start the 7th inning here, Keith.
Facing Zach Neto, facing the top of the lineup. Righty against righty. First pitch from Rico. Here's a breaking ball. Spinning in for a strike. 0-1. Uncle Rico Garcia, if you will, out there for his second batter. He'll face Neto, Shotwell, and Trout. Nobody up in the pen behind him. 1-run game. 0-1. Just missed low and in, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. As I mentioned, Shotwell is on deck. That's brought to you by TimberTech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit TimberTech.com. 3-2 Met lead. Garcia first out of the bullpen. There's the 1-1. Neto fouls the pitch off of Alvarez's left leg. It's a strike, and it's 1-2. Got a bad piece of Alvarez. Well, speaking of Uncle Rico, that is, of course, an ode to the great actor John Grease from Napoleon Dynamite, who has probably gotten maybe a little bit more famous for White Lotus, if you've seen that on HBO over the last few years. Mention that because we had Hollywood's own Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin, in the booth with us earlier in the game. So Rico Garcia set of the belt. 1-2 to Neto. Fouled off again, and it stays a ball and 2 strikes. So we had David Wright over the weekend, of course, on David Wright Number Retirement Day. We had Christopher McDonald here. You never know who will join us next. Yeah, the minor leagues, one of the great things about theme nights, keeping everybody excited about coming to games. Seinfeld night in the minors with the Brooklyn Cyclones all the time. You always get a random celebrity would come out, do an appearance, sign bobbleheads, take pictures, and I got a chance to do Uncle Rico once. John Grease, great guy, down in Brooklyn a couple of years ago. 1-2 to Neto. Missed outside by Garcia. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Probably hard to find a better line than back in high school. I could throw a football over the mountains. That was Uncle Rico on Napoleon Dynamite. Infield back around to the left. 3-2 Mets in the 7th. Here's the payoff. missed outside a curve. I checked the count. Now it is 3-2. It was 2-2, so that pitch is not ball 4, but ball 3, and now it'll be a 3-2 on Neto, who has walked already tonight. Garcia set. Rocks and fires. Swing and a miss. Got him with a slider to strike him out. So Garcia does get his man. 1 out in the 7th inning. It'll bring out the lefty, Nolan Shonowell. And it's a dangerous 1-run lead to have against a team like the Angels that is 4th in the majors in home runs. Again, only the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Yankees have hit more home runs than these Angels. Here's Shonowell, who only has 8 homers but 2 doubles tonight. The left-hand hitter. First pitch. Clips the inside corner. 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Garcia, and it's 0-1. It's ahead 3-2. We're down 2-0. Scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th, and are trying to take this thing home in the 7th inning. Here's the 0-1. Missed away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Speaking of bullpen, Reed Garrett has started to throw for the Mets, who also, the bevy of moves made today, they had to DFA Chris Davinsky. Infield back around to the right, the 1-1. Shonowell fouls it off into the mitt, and it's 1-2. Now, just talking to Carlos Mendoza today about that. Remember there's a moment earlier in the year where the Mets had Davinsky at AAA, and then brought him up, then optioned him down. This time around, they wanted to option him, but at his point in his career, he's been helping lately, and the Mets need help. So at this point in his career, he actually had the choice to either go to AAA or test the market, and he decided to test the market. 1-2. It's like foul off to the left, and it stays 1-2. That is given to veterans. You might be hearing about some things like that with maybe Marcell Ozuna down with Atlanta. He has, we call him 10-5 rights. You spend enough time in the major leagues with the team, you can pick and choose kind of where you go if you get moved or traded. Same thing with a guy like Davinsky. He has those rights. 1-2. Missed up high on Shonowell. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And for the Mets, they kind of want to hold on to Davinsky, and there's still a chance that they do. But in a world where we're getting closer to the trade deadline, think about all the people that might say, you know what, Chris, come on over here and pitch with us for a little while. Garcia set, the 2-2. Shonowell rips it right side, off the diving glove of Beatty, off his glove and trickling behind him into shallow right. Soto picks it up, fires back to first, but Shonowell took a big turn, is on at first safely with a base hit. So he's 3 for 4. It was a really valiant effort by Beatty to his left, diving from the dirt onto the grass in shallow right, extending the glove, laying full out, belly flop there, and just getting a closer look on the SNY replay. It did hit off of the 4th and 5th fingers, so away from the thumb toward that flat part of the glove, and redirected into right. So 1-on-1 out from Mike Trout in a 1-run game in the 7th, 3-2 Mets. Pitch to Trout, missed down low. That's 1 ball and no strikes. Trout tonight has singled in 3 trips. Remember the first base hit he had was in the 1st inning with Shonowell at second. Shonowell's right now at first. Base hit to right. Soto threw out Shonowell at the plate. Big play in just a 1-run game. Here's the 1-0. At the knees, fastball strike, and it's 1-1. And Mike is 2 RBIs shy of 1,000. He is currently 9th on the active list. The leader right now, most RBIs currently playing, Freddie Freeman out in L.A. He has 1,281 RBIs. Garcia looking for a double play ball. The 1-1 is fouled back this way under our booth and into the front row of 318 right in front of us.
Second straight night, right?
Yeah.
Or at least recently we've had 2 in that front row. Was it last night? Somebody made a great catch in there?
I have day game in my mind.
Okay.
I think it might have been Sunday. That was against the Reds. This could be a nice spot. We sit here every night. We like it. 1-2. Check swing. Breaking ball down. Appeal to first. No swing, says Eric Bacchus. And it's 2-2 on Trout. You can say after the game against the San Francisco Giants Friday, August 1st. Spectacular fireworks display. Weather permitting. Go to Mets.com/fireworks. Mets 3, Angels 2. Top of the 7th. Garcia working here. 1-on-1 out. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Trout strikes out on the slider. Even Mike Trout might be slowing up a little bit. He's still somewhat terrifying to face. And Garcia gets his man, the final man that he'll face. Here comes Carlos Mendoza going to get Reed Garrett, who we told you was warming up. Taylor Ward coming up, big swinger. 1-run lead for the Mets. 1 on, 2 outs, top of the 7th for the Angels. Pitching change and slow down in action. Brought to you by Iservay.
More Mazda buyers choose Ramsey Mazda.
The name of the business is Legacy Catering. We all were talking about how Mom taught us all how to cook. She was a cook at the public school system for ages. So we all started to cook with her, so we decided, to do the business, so we went to figure out what we're going to call it. So we said, let's cook in honor of, our mother. So that's what Legacy came in. And just remember that Legacy Catering is about people, and this is what barbecuing is all about, and this is why we love it.
So we're still in the top of the 7th inning. Mets are still ahead of the Angels 3-2. There are 2 outs, so runner is on. That runner belongs to the account of Rico Garcia. So from one RG to the next. Here's Reed Garrett out of the bullpen, facing Taylor Ward. And I'll tell you what, Rico Garcia was throwing the ball really well. He faced 4 batters. 3 of the 4 he retired, including 2 strikeouts in this inning, one of Neto and one of Michael Trout, who is probably going to the Hall of Fame. But even then, Carlos Mendoza said, okay, Rico, good job. So here's Garrett on to face Ward, who has been the big RBI man for the Angels this season. A career high for him, 76. 2 outs, first pitch. In for a strike, started him off with a sweeper away, and it's 0-1. So maybe saving Rico Garcia for tomorrow. Maybe just loving the matchup of Garrett versus Ward here. The righty set, 0-1. Another breaking ball, another strike, a sweeper. It's 0-2. Now Reed Garrett pitching to a 3 ERA this year, his 42nd game. And Mr. Trusty this year, trying to get the final out of the 7th. The 0-2. Missed low. Tried to get him to chase the split down and in. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. One of the hardest throwers in the game. Usually misses a lot of barrels. That's been it for Reed Garrett. Runner at first base, 2 outs, 3-2 Mets. Pitch. Bounces by Alvarez, scoots behind him, and there goes Shonowell running to second base. It was down and away with a splitter in the dirt, and Alvarez, who has had trouble blocking balls, has some trouble with this one. So wild pitch. Alvarez on one knee, the right knee, turned the glove over in front of that right knee, and it bounced off of his glove and went behind him. That's one of the things the Mets wanted him to work on. But now the tying man's in scoring position. 2-2 pitch. Hit hard to second. Beatty makes a sliding catch. Soft liner, but tailing away from him, and he followed it and went into a feet first slide into the grass in shallow right. The inning is over.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, Diamond Dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
You're near a line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
I can't imagine transitioning from loving baseball cards to then knowing it's inevitably coming that you're going to be on baseball cards. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, I think the first card I saw was when they did something for USA Baseball, and then now seeing my face, seeing me playing baseball on a card, it was surreal. It wasn't that it was that moment where like, wow, this is really something.
Veg ER for Pets, the official emergency veterinarian group of Mets Radio.
Bottom of the 7th inning at Citi Field. Lights are on. Night sky up overhead. 3-2 Met lead. And the new pitcher on for the Angels out of the bullpen. Their second reliever. It is righty Ryan Zefferjohn. Big 6'5" right-handed pitcher out of Topeka, Kansas. Went to KU. Righty on to face Alvarez, Mauricio, and Nimmo. 8-9-1 for the Mets. And before this at-bat begins, Alvarez calls for time. So both starters, of course, Wade done with this one. Montas went 5 2/3. Since then, it's been Rico Garcia and Reed Garrett. For the Angels, Kyle Hendricks 4 2/3. Connor Brogdon now to Zefferjohn. First pitch. Alvarez takes a breaking ball strike. Snapping in with a sweeper, and it's 0-1. Zefferjohn, just his second major league season. Last year, got into 12 games, pitched to an ERA, started with 2. This year, ERA up over 5. The righty's 0-1. Check swinging a breaking ball away. He did not go, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. 36 innings, 41 games this year for Zefferjohn. 5.75 ERA. The 1-1 to Alvarez. Missed outside, more soft stuff, the slider, and it's 2-1. Well, Alvarez tied the game his last time up with a 2-run home run to left. 4th home run up here. Remember we told you that when he was at AAA, it became kind of cool to see a highlight every now and then of a home run, but then it became kind of a daily occurrence down with the Syracuse Mets. 2-1 is rolled to short. Neto slides to his left, drops the ball, and Alvarez is safe. Neto's usually excellent at short. Talking about the Angels don't play well defensively. Neto's in a category of his own, but he boots this one, and Alvarez, a lot of things coming up Alvy right now. He's on with an E6.
Oh, what a break that was, because Neto just dropped it, taking it out of his glove, making the transfer. Routine as it gets.
When you're playing a team that hits the ball out of the ballpark, 1 run feels like it's not going to cut it. So Mets would love some insurance. Pitch to Mauricio. Ronnie takes a cutter strike, and it's 0-1.
Particularly when they don't, in all likelihood, have Edwin Diaz available.
And right now the bullpen is empty, so Reed Garrett, who faced 1 hitter in the 7th, looks like he'll get the 8th. 0-1 to Mauricio. Lefty takes outside, and that evens the count at 1-1. A single, a stolen base. Turned out to be a really big stolen base for Ronnie in that 5th inning. Came around to score in the Nimmo RBI single. Brandon is on deck, swinging that now famous Mets sledgehammer. Here's the 1-1. Tap to the right side. Second baseman Rengifo. It's Shadowell who gets in the way, knocks it down. He has no play. And Alvarez safe at second. Mauricio safe at first. Rengifo picks up the ball and looks to Shadowell, who's walking back to his position. The first baseman was way out in no man's land to his right, reached up over his head, and Rengifo was right there ready to field it behind him at second. More bad defense from the Angels, and here comes the pitching coach out for a jog, Barry Enright. Man, oh man.
Well, that's certainly an engraved invitation for the Mets to do some damage here in this 7th inning. I mean, by rights, there should be 2 out, nobody on with no drama. This inning would be the spot for Lindor to finally break out, don't you think?
I do. I mean, he's in the worst stretch of his career, 0 for his last 29. Nimmo's up first here, but Lindor's going to get a crack. And then Soto. And again, it's a chance for the Mets to push things a little further. They have a 3-2 lead, bottom of this 7th inning. Phillies did win. They held on to beat Boston 4-1. Christopher Sanchez, 1 run allowed. He had a complete game. 4 hits, 1 run, struck out a dozen, didn't walk anybody. It's a scary Phillies team. So the Mets need to win, and they do have a lead. They need to win to keep pace. Just a half game behind the Phillies into play tonight. So they have called it a fielder's choice E3, second consecutive error on 2 hitters for the Angels. First pitch to Nimmo, swing and a miss by the lefty over top of a sweeper, and it's 0-1. So Alvarez on at second base. He reached on the E6. Mauricio on at first, reached on that fielder's choice E3, and SNY is showing Lindor on deck, who he was talking to a moment ago. 0-1. Nimmo takes outside, 1-1. The owner of the Mets, Steve Cohen, giving him a pep talk. Francisco's in the on-deck circle, which is right near that brick wall where Steve is sitting in that blue Mets hat. The 1-1. Nimmo pulls it. Foul just outside of first, right along the chalk, but foul. And it's 1-2.
That's interesting. You know, Steve usually watches the game in his suite. And I can remember years and years ago, occasionally you would see the original owner of the Mets, Mrs. Payson, seated right next to the Mets dugout. Nelson Doubleday would sit next to the Mets dugout. Fred Wilpon would watch the game in a suite. So it's kind of a new thing in the recent past anyway to see a Mets owner sitting in the crowd.
Who knows if the magic will work. Lindor waiting for his chance. Nimmo batting first and second. Nobody out. Bottom 7. 3-2 Mets. Zephyr John's pitch missed inside, rescued by the catcher. O'Hoppe on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball in. O'Hoppe was set up away, so he had to shoot his glove across his body and stop that one from going to the backstop. Neto playing behind the runner at second. 2-2. Fouled into the mid and held by O'Hoppe. A strikeout. Nimmo retired, and here is Francisco Lindor. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Mets. Mired in the worst stretch of his career, 0 for his last 29. Here's Lindor, 2 on, 1 out. Mets by a run in the 7th. Pitch missed outside a cutter. Ball 1. Carlos Mendoza was talking about Francisco today. He said it's not the first time he's going to be in a bad stretch and not the last time he's going to be in a bad one. He's just one hit away from getting out of it. The 1-0. Breaking ball strike, a slider, and it's 1-1. From Carlos's eyes, right there, top step of the dugout, he's seen the swing get maybe a little touch long, a little bit late on some fastballs. Lindor takes his time. Francisco has made him him. It's not on his chest officially, but that C's in there somewhere. Even throughout this messy streak, he's right at his locker after the game, answering questions, saying I have to be better, taking accountability, and now a chance to flip it all. 2 on, 1 out. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a slider, biting down, and it's 1-2. A strikeout, 2 flyouts to center. Lindor, single tap of the plate, batting left. Alvarez at second, Mauricio at first. Zephyr John's pitch. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away, and the runners move up to second and third. Lindor is out. Alvarez goes to third, Mauricio to second. So Lindor strikes out, second out of the inning. 0 for his last 30 now. And Juan Soto coming up. Well, the ball went to the backstop. The runners move ahead on the wild pitches. On the wild pitch, but both of them move up. And so here's Soto, who last night came through, but they're not going to come through here. They're going to put him on base, the intentional walk, and now it's Alonso's turn. He's also been struggling. Pete will bat with the bases loaded. Mets ahead by a run. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Pete 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for his last 16. And if you're wondering, well, how in the world are the Mets up? Well, they had the bottom of the order come through earlier in the game. That's how they have a 3-2 lead. Looking for more. First pitch right on right. Way outside. Diving stop by O'Hoppe, the catcher to his right. He caught that at the back of the lefty batter's box. So Zephyr John has thrown 17 pitches, 10 strikes, 7 balls. And when he throws them out of the zone, he really means it. 1-0. Bases juice. 2 outs. Pitch. Looped in the air, foul off to the right. And it's 1-1. And Pete still top of the leaderboard in RBIs. 3rd in the National League with 77. 6th best in baseball, but lately it's been quiet in the power and the production department. But he's been really good this year. Men in scoring position. Bases loaded. Mets by a run in the 7th. The pitch. Swing and a miss late on the sweeper running in. And it's 1-2. Zephyr John came in and really didn't do anything wrong to begin with. Alvarez reached on an error. Mauricio reached on an error. Well, Pete calls for his time. So Zephyr John, the Angels righty, has said, well, forget the defense. let me just do it myself. Struck out Nimmo, struck out Lindor, and Soto's on with the intentional walk. Outfield a touch the other way. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Pitch coming. Swing and a miss. Got him on a sweeper. Zephyr ends up striking out 3 of the Mets to leave him loaded. So a weird inning. No runs, no hits, 2 errors, 3 laps. A 3-2 lead. They just had a good chance there with men on base. Couldn't come through. And so as we go to the 8th, Reed Garrett stays on. Brent Beatty goes from second to third. Jeff McNeil goes from center field to second. Ronnie Mauricio out of the game, and the new center fielder in for defense with the lead late, as we've seen before, Howie Tyrone Taylor.
And so that is the defensive alignment for the Mets as Garrett goes to work against Joe Adell, the center fielder, who's 0 for 3, but he's got power. 3-2 New York. First pitch taken on the outside corner. Strike 1 called. Well, the Angels tried to give the Mets some insurance in the bottom of the 7th inning, but the Mets wouldn't accept it, so they're left to their own devices here as Garrett comes set and delivers 0-1. Swing and a bouncer foul over by the third base dugout, and it's 0-2. Mets, I would imagine, would like to have Garrett get through this inning. I don't think we would see him beyond the 8th, and I would imagine then, here's the 0-2 on the way to Adell. Swung on and missed strike 3. Got him with a sweeper. So 1 man away. And if I had to guess, we're assuming no Diaz and no Brazoban and quite possibly no Raley. Well, really, that leaves Ryan Stanek as the guy they would turn to for the 9th inning if necessary.
They got that big save on Sunday, just the second one of the year when, remember, Diaz was a little wild against the Reds.
So here is Moncada, switch hitter batting left. First pitch. Tries to hold the swing. He did on appeal to third. Held off on the cutter, says Mike Estabrook, the third base up. And it's 1-0. And don't forget, stay tuned after the game for the Verizon Mets postgame show. For the latest deals, drop into your local Verizon store. Here's the 1-0. Check swing, fastball down and in. It was the cutter, and it's 2-0 to Moncada, who was lined to first, struck out, and struck out again. Outfielder straight away here. Beatty way off the line at third. And the 2-0 pitch. In for a called strike, a sweeper. And it's 2-1. Carson Fulmer getting ready, along with Reed Detmers in the Angels bullpen. 2-1 pitch. Moncada fouls it back to the screen. And it's 2-2. Paid attendance announced here tonight. Another sellout. 43,055.
On a Tuesday night against the Angels. That's pretty good.
That is really impressive. Mets have been such a good club here at home this year. 35-16. The 2-2. Swing and a foul back to the screen. That was a split. And a big cut there by Moncada. Injury update brought to you by the Rothenberg Law Firm. If you're injured in an accident, the game plan is simple. Just go to injurylawyer.com. Well, Starling Marte's good to go. He's in uniform, active tonight. The Mets got him back. Jared Young sent back down to AAA. 2-2. Garrett ready. Holding the set. Now the pitch to Moncada is dribbled foul. Back behind home plate. Just did get a piece of it. Looks like Detmers has sat down, and Carson Fulmer is the only man throwing now in the Angels bullpen. Oh, no, there's Detmer still hanging around out there. Fulmer's doing most of the throwing. 2-2. Here's the pitch. In there, strike three call. He got him with a fastball. It took 7 pitches. It was pretty good at bat by Moncada, but Garrett has struck out the first 2. So 2 out, nobody on, and the dangerous Jorge Soler will be the batter. Soler homered with 2 out in the second inning against Frankie Montas. 3-2 New York. 2 out, nobody on, top 8. First pitch by Garrett. A little bit low with a sinker, 1-0. Beatty at third is very deep and just a stride off the line. Outfield straight away. McNeil at second, way over towards the bag. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a foul into the mid of Alvarez. A good hard sinker. 97-mile-an-hour sinker out of the hand of Reed Garrett. And it's 1-1.
Violent swing by Jorge Soler. Scary.
He will do that. The 1-1. He lays off a sinker away. 2 balls and 1 strike.
But you're at the bottom of the lineup. Okay, you take a breath, but not with Soler hitting 7th and Ohapi on deck 8th. He has 18 home runs.
2-1 to Soler. Garrett sets. Now the pitch. In tight, he almost nicked him with a sweeper. And Garrett behind, 3-1. Soler now with his 6th big league team. Been on the IL with a back problem, but this is a guy who hit 48 homers, drove in 117 runs 6 years ago as a member of the Kansas City Royals. And of course, 2 years after that, the World Series MVP with the Atlanta Braves. 3-1. Now the pitch. Breaking ball in for a called strike. Good sweeper, and it's 3-2. So Garrett trying to get through here in this 8th inning. Mets leading 3-2. They've been out hit 9-5. Garrett ready. Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a chopper towards third, foul. And on we go. Mets bullpen is quiet. This inning belongs to Garrett. Montas went 5 2/3. Garcia worked 1. And now the 3-2 to Soler. It's on the way. And it's chopped to third. Backing off Beatty. He makes the pick. Gets up. Slings it to first in time. And that retires the side. Reed Garrett with a huge smile on his face. That ball looked like it was about to eat up Beatty. But he ended up holding his ground and getting kind of a short hop. Well,
what is it about baseball cards that make them so special? Why do you enjoy doing that?
Well, the biggest thing is I started collecting when I was a kid. O-Pee-Chee was a Canadian hockey league, and then the Canadian football. But I didn't start in the U.S. until I had signed professionally as a ball player. And when I got my first rookie card, and I've got it here with me.
Let's take a peek at that.
1966 with Billy Sorrell.
Five-man umpiring crew here today, and this young superstar.
And did their feet get tangled up? Yes, so Hoppy Tritt, they got their feet tangled up before the ball came down.
That goes helicoptering into the net. It's pop talk.
And that ball is off the ladder. It's actually off the ladder. You never see that.
A little tumble behind the mound, hat fell off. That was awesome. I mean, you just don't see that.
I want to ask you about food. What is something that you have to eat to beat a judge?
Oh, Aaron Judge! Send him to Monument Park now!
We got some good chefs in New York. They've been cooking up some nice chopped cheeses, and that kind of, it gets you, I don't know if I should tell the kids that they should be eating chopped cheese before a game.
Before the game,
Probably steak. That's usually what I go to.
A lot of steak, no vegetables.
No vegetables?
No vegetables.
Is it straight protein?
Yeah.
298-7800. That's 718-298-7800.
We go to the last of the 8th inning at Citi Field. It's the Mets 3, the Angels 2. And again, the Mets will go looking for a little insurance as Carson Fulmer, the veteran right-hander, formerly a first-round pick of the Chicago White Sox out of Vanderbilt University, will take over on the mound for the Angels. Fulmer made his debut 9 years ago with the White Sox, then went on to the Tigers and the Orioles and the Reds, and here he is now in his 3rd year with the Angels. And he's facing Jeff McNeil to lead off, left-hand batter. First pitch, in for a called strike, a slider, and it's 0-1. Fulmer can get it up into the mid to upper 90s. Spent some time in the minor leagues this year. And the 0-1 pitch, down and in with a changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike, and it is Ryan Stanek who is going to draw the 9th inning as he is getting ready in the Mets bullpen. 1-1 to McNeil. The pitch, taken in tight, 2 balls and 1 strike. McNeil, Vientos, and Beatty due up here on the bottom of the 8th inning.
You know who the Angels bullpen coach is? Steve Carsey.
Yep.
Out there. Queens native.
Yep.
Had a famous moment in Mets history.
He certainly did. 2-1 on the way. A roller. It might have broken his bat over by the Mets dugout on the first base side. McNeil just checked the handle, but he's checking it again, but it doesn't matter. The bat boy is bringing a new one out, and they'll make the exchange with a count 2-2. If you didn't know, Steve Carsey, who I believe went to Christ the King.
Yep.
He gave up the home run to Mike Piazza on September the 21st, 2001. In the first game played in New York after the attacks of 9/11. And the magnitude of that home run seems to get a little bit larger with each passing year, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
2-2 to McNeil. Fulmer delivers. Swing and a foul going back into the second deck and tumbling out of said second deck into the lower level seats on the third base side. So still 2-2 to Jeff. Fulmer to the belt. 2-2 pitch. Foul back again. 6 pitches. McNeil hanging in. Fouls another one back with a count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Remember being in the minor leagues, one of my first years. Steve was managing a team. I was in the league we were working in together. I was starstruck.
2-2 on the way. Breaking ball is low. Missed with a curve, full count.
But I was starstruck because of that moment. But I found myself in a place where I go, well, do I bring up the fact that he gave up that home run to Piazza? Or does he not want to talk about it? There was a couple of those that would happen in the minor leagues with some somewhat familiar faces.
Here's the payoff pitch. In tight, ball 4. McNeil works out the walk with an 8-pitch at bat. And the Mets looking for at least one insurance run, have the leadoff man on, and it'll bring up Mark Vientos.
Luis Angel Acuna is going to jump out from that dugout and pinch run for Jeff McNeil. And the way Carlos has managed the game, moving his defense around. Remember, he just moved McNeil to second, so now Acuna will go out and play second base as well.
And it's going to be a challenge if guys stay healthy and reasonably productive for Carlos Mendoza to get enough work for Acuna. Here's Vientos, and he takes a fastball that's on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Vientos is singled, struck out, and walked. Beatty's coming around. 0-1 to Vientos. The pitch, low and away with a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now you look at Vientos and Beatty, Mauricio, and now with Marte back, another right-handed bat. I wonder if they'll be able to keep Acuna up. Throw to first. Acuna dives back in. Acuna was sent down earlier this year, and they knew that he was going to be down there for about, 40 games, something like that. 1-1 the count. Another throw to first, closer play, but again, Acuna dives back in. In fact, the ball was dropped by Shanawell, but that's 2. That's 2 throws over. Disengagements now spent by Fulmer, and that's all you get. So we'll see if Acuna looks to take some liberty here. 1-1 to Vientos. Not running. A pitch out, a swing, and a fly ball to straightaway center. Adele back, moving to the edge of the track, makes the catch. 2 men away. Back to first base goes Acuna. There's a lot to unwrap there.
Well, get it started.
Well, first off, Logan O'Hoppe, thinking Acuna might be running after the 2 disengagements, got up in a pitch-out position, meaning he set up off the plate. Well, the pitch was delivered by Fulmer, but it wasn't where the pitch-out was supposed to go. It was up, but it was out over the plate. So Vientos said, yeah, why not? And hit it about 400 feet.
If he took that one out over the wall, that would have been one of the great memories of the year.
Right?
That was
already
that was
here.
Crazy.
You don't see that often. You don't even see a pitch out often anymore. Never mind a guy swinging and making contact. That's not where it was supposed to go as far as the pitch. And now stepping off, and that's 1 disengagement, is Fulmer. With Brett Beatty, who's lined to second, doubled and struck out in the batter's box. Mets leading 3-2. Acuna at first, 1 out, last of the 8th. Acuna's running, a pitch out. O'Hoppe up with it, throws to second, safe. So they call 2 pitch outs. On the first, the pitcher misfires and the hitter flies out 400 feet away. On the second, Acuna easily beats the throw. So he's 12 out of 13 now in stolen bases, and the Mets get a big runner in scoring position.
So you have a lefty up, so this pitch out goes to the righty batter's box. It's a little too far to the left for O'Hoppe. He's just to move his glove off his body, off center, and that movement might have cost him because you need every millisecond on a throw like that to try to get a speedy Acuna.
So can Beatty get it done? 1-0 the count, the pitch. In for a called strike, a changeup right at the bottom of the zone. And it's 1-1. Well, Beatty with a career-high 11 home runs. He's driven in 33. He's now on a 5-game hitting streak. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Swung over top of a changeup. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes with Alvarez on deck. They're going after Beatty here with first base open. And the right hand hitting Alvarez up next. And another right-hand hitter, Tyrone Taylor, behind him. Acuna short lead off second. That'll keep him close. And the 1-2 bounce slowly to the right side. Runner will cross over. And he fell up with it. Throws to first to retire Beatty. 2 men away. But Acuna down to third with 2 out. And here is Alvarez, who had a big 2-run homer in this game in the 5th inning to tie it up. Last night he had the big double in the 8th inning, which created a 2nd and 3rd situation, and the Mets would cash in both of those runners to go up by 2, and they won by 2. Infield back now with 2 out. Acuna at third. First pitch to Alvarez. Over the outside corner, a slider, and it's 0-1. Francisco fouled out to first. Hit that 2-run homer and reached on an error by the shortstop Neto. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen. Got in towards the hands with a fastball, and it's 0-2. Alvarez in a hole here. And the Angels in the 9th will have 8, 9, and 1 in their order due up. O'Hoppe with power, a hot Rengifo, and a really good hitter, Zach Neto. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Alvarez down on strikes. Side retired. Leadoff walk, nothing more. And at the end of 8, the Mets 3, the Angels 2.
Well, if you look at the infield, they just came out and put, Diamond Dry everywhere except where McKinstry needed it right here.
Wonder when he realized he broke his chain. With an all-star bonus, he can get a new one.
I don't know what is causing this, but we have seen more bats leave players' hands at the plate this year than I ever remember.
Your line shot. Got a chance. They counted it, though. They did.
This is called a Crawford dog. Hamburger bun. Yes. 2 split top Angus beef hot dogs griddled on the skillet, on the plancha. Amazing. And then we do a bacon onion jam with Crawford Bock beer.
Pick it up like a burger.
Pick it up like a burger and you just go in, man.
Let's go to town.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, best hot dog I've ever had. Best hot dog I've ever had. I love this, man.
This is how I grew up eating hot dogs.
It out with the Mets leading the Angels 3-2 going to the 9th inning. Stanek did pick up the save against the Reds on Sunday after having struggled in the limited opportunities he's had in that role this year. Again, no Diaz, no Brazaban, no Raley tonight, so it's Stanek who will be asked to get it done against 8, 9, and 1 in the Angel batting order. Ohapi, Rengifo, and Neto. Remember the other day on Sunday, the first batter who Stanek faced, Noelvi Marte, hit one 400 feet for a long out. First pitch here is a breaking ball swung on and fouled back to the screen, 0-1. As Logan Ohapi, who's 2 for 3, fouls the first one off. Stanek 2-5 on the year with a 4.28 earned run average, and the save was his second on Sunday. 0-1 pitch. Hit hard on the ground up the middle. A base hit going into center field. And immediately, the Angels put the tying run aboard. And that will bring up Luis Rengifo. And it looks like they're going to run for Ohapi at first base.
I think that's Chris Taylor. Yep, Chris Taylor, the old Dodger. First year with the Angels. Speedster, much faster than Ohapi.
So Taylor represents the tying run. And the number 9 hitter, Luis Rengifo, will be the batter. So, Stanek immediately in some difficulty. His first pitch is over for a called strike, a sweeper. And it's 0-1. Thrivewell Infusion brings us the thriving player of the game. Thrivewell Infusion, New York's premier infusion and injection center. Schedule your appointment at thrivewellinfusion.com. To be determined. The 0-1, he shows bunt, takes low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That pitch looked pretty good to being a strike, but the last one wasn't. That was called a strike, so it's still 1-1 anyway, but we got there kind of the Bizarro World way.
You know what Jerry says, even Steven. The 1-1, swing and a miss at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-2. And that's a pitch, and one that he'll throw even harder, where he's just not gotten enough swings and misses. They've made contact. They've fouled balls off against him, even up at the top of the zone when he's been right around triple digits. So Stanek ahead here, 1-2 on Rengifo. Taylor at first, no out, 3-2 Mets in the 9th. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Blew that fastball by him at 98. So 1 man away. Back to the top of the order now. Zach Neto, who might be putting a 9-game hitting streak on the line. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game for the Verizon Mets postgame show. For the latest deals, drop into your local Verizon store. Beatty deep at third. First pitch. Breaking ball over. Good slider. Called strike. 0-1. Neto has struck out, hit into an inning-ending fielder's choice, walked and struck out. Acuna now at second base, shaded way over towards the bag. Virtually the entire right side of the infield is open. Taylor held on by Alonso at first. The pitch, punched foul off the hands into the Hyundai Club seats downstairs. And so, Stanek is ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
He has a propensity to walk batters, especially with that leadoff single, but he went right after Rengifo, right after that, and right after Neto. First 2 pitches for strikes.
And Nolan Shonowell, who has 3 hits in this game, is waiting on deck, and behind him is Mike Trout. So heavy lifting necessary for Stanek here. 0-2 to Neto. Here's a pitch. Swinging a high fly ball to right field. Deep but playable. Drifting back and towards the line. Soto makes the one-hand catch. 2 men away. Hustles a strong throw into the infield. Taylor holds at first. 2 men out. And now Nolan Shonewell, who has doubled, flied to left, doubled again, and singled, will be the batter. The Mets lead the Angels 3-2 with 2 out here in the 9th inning. Taylor, the runner at first, has not attempted to run since having run for Logan O'Hoppe. So Stanek trying to get it done. The first pitch. Swinging a line drive to the right side, on through, base hit right field. Stopping at second is Taylor. Soto plays it in, and it sets up Mike Trout with a game on the line. Runners at first and second, a 4-hit night for Shonewell. And Taylor at second, the tying run. The runner at first, Shonewell, and it looks like they're going to run for him too. Lamont Wade Jr. played last night. Picked up earlier this year from the Giants. Runs to first base. And he is going to run for Shonewell, representing the potential go-ahead run.
Well, Mike Trout against Ryan Stanek has had a pretty good number of at-bats. 3 for 9, 2 home runs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So he's gotten hits. He's gotten on. It's an OPS. It's very, very small sample size, but a big one. 1841. So who knows if that's the old Trout or the new Trout who will show up in this at-bat here.
Well, Trout tonight, single in 4 trips. He went 0 for 3 with a walk and was hit by a pitch last night. He has 17 homers and 44 runs batted in. The outfield, at least in center, Taylor, a couple of steps the other way towards right center. First pitch, in for a called strike, a sweeper, and it's 0-1. Acuna at second, angles in towards the bag, trying to keep Taylor, the tying man, as close as possible. Wade at first, Alonso playing off the bag and behind him. The 0-1 pitch, way outside, rescued on the backhand by Alvarez, and it's 1-1. Kenley Jansen, who is the Angels' closer, is throwing in their bullpen in case this game goes to a bottom of the 9th inning that the Mets do not want to see. 1-1 to Trout, the pitch. Swinging a little pop-up right side. Alonso near the bag at first, makes the catch, put it in the books. Ryan Stanek does a little leap and throws his arms into the air as he records his second save in 3 days. And the Mets have made it 2 in a row over the Angels. 3 straight wins overall, and they remain just a half game behind the first place Phillies in the National League East. In the 9th inning for the Angels, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left. The final score, the New York Mets 3 and the Los Angeles Angels 2. Back to talk about it in a moment on Odyssey Mets Radio, powered by the all-new Nissan Murano.